Yet another multi-year high for crude oil prices here in the pre-market has energy stocks soaring this morning, and we are coming off the highs, though, as it would appear there has been a little bit of positive momentum potentially between Russia and Ukraine out this morning. Russia laying down a few concerns and a few desires that could see potential progress made in talks between the two sides. WTI still up more than 4% here. It was up more than 6%. Its highest level since 2008 in early trading this morning. Brent crude, meanwhile, touching $130 in early trading this morning. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken saying Sunday that the U.S. and its allies are considering banning Russian oil imports right across the board, which sent futures skyrocketing overnight. As soon as the market opened, oil was at multi-year highs. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also saying in a letter to Democratic colleagues that they're exploring strong legislation against the importing of Russian oil. So we will watch the oil markets once again. Huge moves on Friday, if you remember, right across the board for energy stocks. But we are coming back to the downside, as I said, even with the move away from risk continuing. When it comes to equities, the 10-year remaining at multi-week lows here this morning around the 1.70. We'll talk about the CPI number coming up on Thursday, and then we get the Fed, obviously, on the 15th this month. Bank stocks under pressure once again. We'll have a look at Bed Bath & Beyond, obviously, the Ryan Cohen news, sending that thing just absolutely skyrocketing this morning as well. And some of the chip makers could be interesting. Lots to discuss this morning. It's Monday, March 7th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Well off the lows already, as I mentioned, 0.6 basically right across the board there for all three U.S. markets. Was down more than a full percent for the S&P anyway when I first sat down this morning. So a nice move back higher so far. TSX futures here in Toronto pointing to a positive open. A lot of that has to do with the move in crude oil. Brazil open already down slightly, 2.5% now for crude. So it was up 6% when futures opened overnight. We're all the way back to just 2.5%. Bitcoin and Ethereum negative once again. Interesting start to the brand new week, guys. Again, if you missed it out this morning, the move in the futures, it seemed to be surrounding these comments from Russia saying that if they get these, three stipulations met, they're seemingly happy. So there's supposed to be more talks coming out this morning, or to be happening this morning. So we'll keep an eye on how things shape up. But that being said, still lots to look at this morning.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome to another week. Sean is back. You're in position in Bed Bath & Beyond. We'll get that fixed on the position board. Maybe just a bit of a hiccup there. But that stock going nuts. Ryan Cohen doing his thing. Sometimes just whatever. I can't even keep it serious. But either way, we'll talk about the short float, his stake, his plans, and it's on the watch list
it's
as
still
well.
Not working the position board.
Yeah, still not working. We'll get that one fixed. Sean's long. I know.
I just got in again here. Yeah.
And then, of course, like Brennan mentioned, like when those terms or, I guess, demands got released, $7 down on crude, still at 117 or 118. Crazy action. Volatility's gone absolutely nowhere. And we still get CPI this week. So it's going to be a wild one. Now, the market is trying to rally. I mean, the S&P getting back to that 43 is a pretty solid number there. And, the oil names are still going to be in play, including now what is a plethora of all those small cap, low float energy names. There's like a half a dozen of these things now, and all at crazy prices. I mean, INDL's back at that 50 level, so plenty to look at this week. It's going to be another wild one.
Come on, Playmaker, man. Yeah, this is my salmon shirt. I've worn this lots of times, so it does kind of look pink. Yeah, maybe with the new. And someone, what's up, Tris? You mentioned let's fix the bull. The bull is now upside proper here, and yeah, we're already oh my godding already here, and Bed Bath & Beyond. We already took this break here at 28.70. Our best out was $32. We ripped it to the upside. We just got in again, testing the position board. We'll figure out how that's going to work. I'm going to get out in a minute, but right now I'm long long. It was 28.70, 28.75 or so. And what we did was we just took this pre-market break right there. So we take that pre-market break out and bang it to the upside, and we're just laughing right here. So let's see how far we can go. Okay. We just reloaded it, so let's offer this out a little bit here. I'm offering at $39, but we'll get some here around 31 if it gets back up here off that last reload. So, okay. Reloaded. I think that played. I don't know. I didn't hear it, but maybe our graphics are down as well. So, all right. I'm back and everything's messed up, so this is perfect. What's up, Brandon?
Hey. Yeah, lots to talk about, including Bed Bath & Beyond. Before we go too far, though, let's bring in Miss B. Good morning.
Morning, team. I hope you had a great weekend and ready for a productive week. Please smash the like button and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's jump right into things here. Lots to get through this morning. My button's not working either this morning, so we'll just show you this. Bed Bath & Beyond. Hard to ignore this move this morning. If you missed it, almost a 10% stake declared by GME and Chewy founder Ryan Cohen. 10% in Bed Bath & Beyond, guys. This is quite the investment strategy for Mr. Cohen.
Yeah. What he outlined he actually had suggestions in the letter. It's, he wanted to spin off, I forget which part of the business, and then explore sale potentially of the entire thing. And, ultimately, this is a name that's more about the momentum here today than anything else. It did squeeze on earnings before. If you go all the way back to November, it's going to be past those levels now, and you're actually breaking back out to, I guess it was the previous squeeze that got it to $50. So if you have a look at that, you get 50. I think this is what Sean was talking about, is 39.40, and we've essentially already broken through the 30 level. So it's basically every $10 on the way to 50, and yeah, somehow, oddly enough, we're joking around about this. It's actually not that funny, but there's an issue with pay for shorts right now. So the only thing that's moving that you actually have locates of is Bed Bath & Beyond, and no locates and all the things that I would actually like to be shorting right now. But we'll have a quick look at some of those other, I guess, low float oil names. But off to the races here. There are some fundamental things that certainly Ryan Cohen is talking about here. Although I don't think that's driving the stock price, right? Like, even if it's just like a sale of the company, like look what that did for Peloton. You get that bump, and then everyone ran to the hills, and then it was down for like 14 days in a row or something like that. This is more of a pure squeeze play because of that gigantic short interest, which is at 25%.
Yeah, so just I got back in there a couple times just to make sure this position board is working. So it looks like it's working now. Our average price is going to be $29.50, but we just took a little bid there just to get it going. So now we'll wait to see where it's popping off. We've already done quite well today. We've hit some goals already on one trade. So so far so good here. I may only be trading this one name today, to be honest with you. I have a few other names on here: Uber, AMD, and Ford on the sticky notes. The sticky notes back in the building. So I hope you guys had a good day on Friday. But honestly, I'm just going to be looking most likely all day today at Bed Bath & Beyond. We've already hit it. Why not stick with it? We have shorts. Everything is working out on this stock. I believe this one has obviously a chance to moon like crazy here, 10% stake. It's just a matter of the Reddit. I mean, they're already on it, 13 million shares, but we could do a hell of a lot more, and it could just fall right back in. So it's not like guaranteed to go long and prosper here. So let's wait to see what happens with GameStop, with GameStop, that's what I feel like, with Bed Bath & Beyond. And then, you know what? I didn't even get a chance to look today yet at a GameStop. What is GameStop doing? It's only done 21,000 shares. I'm not even going to look at the price. If these shares, okay, this is a little bit, I didn't even look at the price. I just skipped it. If these names don't do volume, then there's going to be no follow through, right? So you're going to wait for an AMC or a GameStop to really pick up in volume. We'll wait for Brendan to wait for you guys on the chat to say like, oh my God, something's going crazy with AMC. And I think that's when you go over to it. But right now you're already seeing some money come back. I wonder if at 9 a.m. when, the market sort of more retail come in, more accounts get turned on, maybe that's when Bed Bath & Beyond makes another rip up to 33, but we're going to wait out for that. I do have an offer around $31 to get something out here. But yeah, so far so good. It's a big stock for me. I'm already having my best day of March.
There is still a short interest on that as well, guys. Be aware, 25%. The last update I can see here this morning for the short interest on BBBY. We'll get to all these crazy oil stocks this morning, but as we said, oil coming back to the downside in a bit of a hurry here. We were discussing some of the retail space last week. This note just out from Kohl's here. They were talking about it's Investor Day, apparently at Kohl's today. So they're talking about some initiatives and their digital business and some targets coming through as far as their digital business over here for the remainder of this year. No reaction whatsoever for the stock, but just be aware Kohl's might be interesting today. We had Macy's making some moves back on Friday, also throughout the week last week. So retail could be interesting here, guys.
There goes Bed Bath & Beyond. We just got another piece out, but yeah, no, look, yeah,
there's only one. There's only one
up a good name I like right there.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, if you thought there'd be like a sympathy, Bed Bath & Beyond makes a move because it has a short float. Macy's might because it has a short float as well. Not really seeing it. The only good thing I'll say about Macy's is if you have a quick look at the chart, okay, great. If it does some volume, see what that 200 period and that 23 support has gotten you, and it's got a pretty decent channel to be able to take advantage of. But look, you need a catalyst for this stock. And don't get me wrong, like if it has a float, so when it goes, it can absolutely make a bit of a run. I'm a little actually surprised to see that the volume is as low as it is. And the last couple of days, or the last couple of big opportunities have really been to the south side, but it's really just been about playing that range, 23, 26 and a half, 36,000 shares. I'm definitely shocked for that because you would expect, with Bed Bath & Beyond going, that just about any retailer with with a good short float might have a few more eyes on it, but reality is I'm looking at like multiple of these oil things that are doing millions of shares today, and then throw in Bed Bath & Beyond. It wasn't as if even, like Sean said, even GameStop wasn't doing anything. So it just feels like it's a one-trick pony for the short squeezes, and it's going to be Bed Bath & Beyond. Surprised Macy's isn't doing anything. You'd expect like a few shares, like somebody speculative buying and thinking it could do a bit of a move, but nothing.
So it's KSS here as Kohl's, but like Brendan mentioned, I thought, don't they report later on this week? I believe they do. Maybe we can check that. I think it's like Wednesday or maybe it's Tuesday, maybe it's tomorrow on Kohl's. Or did I miss that? Maybe was this their report day? But there is activist movement in Kohl's, so I really like them. They've held up really great. I was looking back and wow, Bed Bath & Beyond, as we continue to go to the high side here. Like we just reloaded on Bed Bath. There it is, on Bed Bath & Beyond. And we're going to go over that in a minute. Now we're $2 in the money and still ripping higher on triple the shares that we had. So there you go. Okay, so 60, it's not, well, we're out. And now we don't have triple, but we have double. Okay, so $64 here, I think, can come into play, especially if you get these activists going. You do have earnings, I believe, on Kohl's. We'll double check that right now. But look what's happening on Bed Bath & Beyond. I mean, like I said, I'm going to be very, very distracted today with this stock because it's just going to be the mover. If you're a day trader, you have to be trading this today. The volume's 15 million shares, man, and it's going to move. It's going to take this out again. It's going to take out $33. So we got in first here at 28.70. Then we got out ding, 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 ding. Like these are all 30s. Like you couldn't even. I thought Neil was over here rapidly hitting keys, and I thought he was in it, but I guess you were in that IMPP or something.
No, I've been basically trying to like figure out this. I've been online with our guys. They trying to get like shorts. Basically, you can't short anything.
Yeah.
If it's anything that's not free, you can't short right now. So I'm just trying to get locates because IMPP, INDO, if I don't get to trade those, I'll be a bit disappointed today. Like INDO just fell again from 50 to 45. And that's like the third time it's done it today.
And guys, right now, Bed Bath & Beyond is trying to take out anyways, just went up to 33. It stopped at 32.40. So watch out for that 32.80 on a couple reloads, man. And like I said, we've only traded one stock and we've made 3 trades, and I'm having my best day in March. So I don't know if that means that March hasn't been good or not, but hey, I'm pretty happy right now with 45 minutes to go in this market. Check out the sticky note at Trader TV, Sean, it's on there. Unfortunately, I wrote down the level 28.75 because when I came in, that's what I was looking for. So we hit that break, and then all I wrote down now is in the tweet was, and here, if you guys, some people saying they don't have Twitter, you can actually go to our watch list, and the sticky note is on the side of the watch list. So you can see that as well. But we talked about here, we have to repeat it on the day breaks if levels form, right? And so like right now, the reason why I like that 28.75 was because it was about as obvious as possible. You had a high there and a high there. So That's what I mean by it doesn't get any easier than that. But right now, these reloads were a little tough. You had to, there it goes, now new highs on Bed Bath & Beyond, Brendo. I'm not joking about my offer at $39 right now. It's sitting there, so we'll see if it gets hit. But you could see this, a little bit of a level break right there, and right now we started to take out highs. So all we did was average back in near the 50 period, near VWAP, was able to take that. And these are real trades, man. These are not like I got in early or anything. I wish I did. I wasn't here. But now you're going to see this starting to really rocket to the upside, man. 32.60, 33.14, still ripping upside. So this is a $3 winner rate now on the reload, let alone the damage that we did down here. So watch Bed Bath & Beyond. It seems like it wants to respect this VWAP and or 50 period. So, hey, man, we are monstrous right now and loving life, Brendo.
You guys touched on it a little bit there early. I think it's important, though, to mention, do we get, some sort of sympathy rally in some of these other names? Like, is it worth even having Chewy up on, a chart somewhere, because there is still a short interest in Chewy as well. But do we get a sympathy rally in GME, in AMC today? And if so, what do we do with those?
I mean, if we do, I'm not seeing it. Like, how many times are we going to get pumps up and volume pushes? And across the board, like AMC, it's up 1%, but the market just turned around, so maybe it just has something to do with that. The one I'm thinking about is, okay, well, Cohen's got his eyes on something else, then I'll fade those. Like, it's the GameStop to me. If we actually go up in this thing today, then that's the one I think it's a little bit easier to short for two reasons. One, because it has no catalyst today, and then the second one would be if it makes a move and either one of those two breaks out, AMC, GameStop, doesn't really matter. If either one of these things breaks out and you catch a turn on Bed Bath & Beyond, then suddenly you can be in what should be the laggard, right? You can use something as your leading indicator sometimes in the squeeze plays when there's a leader of the bunch. I remember cost and GameStop had that relationship months ago, and there was always, so not obvious, but there were these plays that you could make in cost after GameStop had already made a turn or a bounce along those lines. So I'd love for it to break out. Then would give you a chance to fade something a little bit more safely there. And, I was looking at 113.50 if it was going to make a break, and then, okay, next level up 117.5. And the same way we were playing oil and Oxy, we'd try to play a Bed Bath & Beyond GameStop. But there is nothing else moving right now. That's worth noting. Like, it'd be nice if there was a sympathy play, but for now, there's absolutely nothing.
I just wrote down, I'm just getting a tweet out here. I just wrote down that maybe we'll take some out at 35 here on Bed Bath & Beyond. Like, when I woke up today and saw, well, it wasn't when I woke up, but when that news hit there and I looked up my phone, I was like, Bed Bath & Beyond up 70%. Like, what the hell is going on here? But yeah, I had no idea that this would be what the end result is here. So let's take a piece out now at 35. We're $5 in the money on the reload, and we just reloaded it for you, hopefully with you. We started the show, we brought the fire. It's here again today. It's a Monday, and we're just about to get started here. So I hope you're enjoying the show. Check me out at Trader TV Sean. A couple tweets out so far. We're gonna get a piece out of this near 35 bucks. I mean, why the hell not? $5 on a reload, I'll take it.
We have a few other things to note here this morning, guys. One of those, obviously, this oil story that continues to play out. Here's 139 overnight on Brent. If you go back to, I believe it's 2008, early 2008, the high for West Texas Intermediate was 147, which seems insane, but I mean, it's almost inevitable. It would feel, anyways, that we at least test that. So Brent up to 139. WTI highest since 2008. So the other main headline here today, guys, is going to be all about these oil stocks. I mean, all of them made huge moves at the end of the week, last week, to the upside. We are coming back in, it's worth noting, on, as we said, what would appear to be some sort of positive movement in this Russian and Ukraine conflict. But worth a look anyways. Whether you want to look at the small caps, the micro caps even, or the big ones today, they're going to be active.
Well, you're going to look at all of them. That headline, man, that changed the game, because essentially you're down $5 on Occidental. Already showed crude oil, and that 65 level on Oxy looked like it was going to be in play. It feels like, and look, I'm not talking about politics or anything, but it seems like the market is saying that's not too big of an ask. Maybe we're going to get some movement in terms of whether it's a ceasefire or the way I look at it. This is all of interesting coincidence, because just yesterday was the first time that serious discussions of actual sanctions on oil exports got bandied about. You know, that gets thrown out, you get the overnight spike, and then suddenly there's some talk that could lead to a possible resolution. Who knows? But at this point, I actually feel confident that this could be the day that you have a chance for a better short on some of the oil names here. They've gone so far. You have this push down. If there's any spike off the open, you have tons of headline risk. Obviously, I understand that. And the way I would rather actually be playing this is to simply look at the things that are nonsensical and have gone too far. Like Sean was like, yeah, you know, Neil was hitting keys over there. Well, it's because I desperately wanted to be short INDO. And you know, when you're seeing oil pull back in, the thing that's gone from $4 to $55 seems like low-hanging fruit, and it is. But it just broke 43s again, so it's now down another $8. If you can short it, fine. I've been talking about it sort of going down in the chat this morning. And then you also have that IMPP as well getting absolutely flummoxed. So if these show any strength, it's clearly, in my mind, if you get oil continuing its downward pressure, these have so much more room to possibly come back down here. And relative to something like an Oxy, don't get me wrong, Oxy is overextended as well. But crazy action. And look, maybe this is nothing, but we're day trading. We're talking about day trades and short-term trades. It's entirely possible this goes nowhere and oil makes its ramp back up. Next thing you know, we're staring at 130 a barrel. But we're talking about the momentum this morning and pulling back in. You can see what's happening to the oil names, and the small caps are, you know, essentially doing double to the downside what the big ones are.
Look, about a month ago, we said to get long XLE, or at least I said that I was getting long XLE, and you guys could do whatever you want. I'm in this name and not going to stop trading it. It's up to 78 bucks, or was up to 78 bucks, back to 76. You know, I'm long the Canadian equivalent, but it's somewhat the equivalent anyways. And we're long, you know, let's just say it was about a month ago, so it's like in the 62, 63 area. So it's nicely done up to 76, 75 bucks there. And we just wanted more exposure, right? And so that's about as simple as it gets in the oil patch. But look, you guys know, we don't really trade oil names too much on the show here, so I'm just gonna stay away from it. And I already told you, there's Bed Bath & Beyond up to $35 now. I made the mistake of not getting filled the first time it came up here, and then took a $34.15 or whatever fill on the way back down. But there it goes, man. Now I just sit here with my 39 offer, and honestly, I'm just gonna wait for that to hit. I might not even. I mean, oil stocks, whatever. I mean, we talk about them. That's nice. You guys can trade them if you want. We don't really ever put on big positions in those spots, but I'm going to stay in my lane and stick with what we're doing best. I like AMD. I like Ford. I like Uber a little bit. And I love Bed Bath & Beyond, guys. Brendo?
Yeah, we're going to talk about chip stocks coming up here. Here's some interesting names on this board again today. Costco earnings last week. Yep, Palantir is back on this board once again to the upside. Kroger and Next Energy. DraftKings again getting some negative love. Moderna and GE as well to the downside, guys.
Yeah, Citigroup just continually under pressure. We'll probably talk a little bit more about the banks, but Citigroup's been an ugly one, man, and it doesn't seem to get any better for these names. Now, there was the pullback in the futures, sort of getting back to the upside here, and not much in terms of love for Citi since they made that break on the daily. If it pulls back far enough, it's maybe easier to see. Yeah, there you go. There's that 57.5. You haven't really stopped at any point. That's too far. You haven't really stopped at any point, and it seems like 50 could be that next leg down. I would think that if the notion is that this could get resolved, but I shouldn't even say that. If there is the hope that we've made some forward progress and things could be slowing down, and the market tries to price in a what could be next, that Citigroup would be a name that could catch a bit of a bid here today. But I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of the long, to be honest with you. So I'm going to stay away from this. I feel like if you're going to express that trade, you know, there's short some of the oil names. There's the chip names that feel a little bit stronger. They've been beaten up during all of this, and that just feels like a bit more lower hanging fruit to the long side. But if we do get a pop, hey, remember on the daily that 57.5 area, that's been pretty good area for some resistance. Every time it tries to get up there and then to 58, you've seen it sort of come back down in ever since that gap pull. So, you know, if I do trade, it'll probably be trying to short a pop on Citigroup in particular. Just that's been the one with the better read. But you know, I'm going to stay away from the banks and the long trade, despite how strong things look here today. You know, there's some other places that maybe you can go to catch a bit of a bid, like I said, the semis and maybe travel.
Yeah, and I think the best trade, I mean, I wasn't here Friday, but I think the best trade Thursday for us was this Citigroup short. And we talked about that shorting right off the open here. And here it is. My trades actually showed up. So we were short 58. I mean, look where it is now, 55. We were short $59 on Thursday, right? Covered some finally at the end of the day, made a nice move down to 58, and then covered some at 57 right there at the end of the day for a $2 winner. That was on Thursday. So yeah, I mean, bank stocks continue to be pretty weak here, man. And of course, we'll be shorting Citigroup all day long, 56 and change. We weren't, like you guys know, I wasn't here on Friday. I hope it was a good show. I'm sure it was. I was here in the morning a little bit, but then had tons of stuff to do with my kids. It was tons of fun. 1075 here to the downside. And thanks for all the likes, by the way, on Friday. That was really nice of you guys. Down to 1020 here, I think, on Palantir. Look, I haven't looked at this stock in a couple days. I don't think well, I mean, I've looked at it, but I haven't traded in the last couple days. But we'll see. If you can come back in here, down to 1020, 1040, something like that on Palantir, I think it's worth a scalp off of 10. So that's that. I'm only talking about it because it's on the board. And then the other name that I'm in for a bank, the only U.S. bank that really I'm in right now, I have a small piece in JPM, but you guys know I sold that around 150 and change. Can't remember, 153, something like that, which was a bad sell at the time, now a good one. And we rotated some of our cash into Goldman. So Goldman getting hit now as well. But again, I think it's not a heavy position. We'll hold it and see what happens. But for me, Goldman Sachs just been beat down so much. And then the one that's the most interesting to me is because it's down like 30% here, almost like 25 to 30% in a month. Morgan Stanley, like this name has just gotten beat up. And I think it's down here to 85 bucks. Seems like a good low here for me. I mean, if you're going to try to find some value, I mean, this bank was really, really heavily talked about, but it's high there of 110, now down to 85. And actually, you know, if you can get it back in here, like 75, and I remember when Neil said, oh, Morgan Stanley at 80, I was like, what? But that's a great spot too. 80 down to
not
75. No, it's not there yet, but 80 to 75 is a good level for some of these. And I don't know when it's going to be time to buy the banks. I think it's going to be soon. So yeah, just start nibbling if you haven't yet. For me, I'm going to stay in cash for a while until we get this ceasefire and we get everything figured out with Russia. I know the unemployment number was good on Friday, and honestly, inflation doesn't bother me too much anymore because the Fed seems to have a plan and they seem to be articulating it to us. So as long as the market understands the rate, when the hikes are coming, things like that, then I'm pretty fine with inflation. It's just the market obviously reeling right now on Russia. So
yeah, it's a shame that these two things are happening almost corresponding with each other. But Neil and I were talking before we came on a little bit on the CPI on Thursday. If we do get some positive progress between Russia and Ukraine, and then CPI on Thursday comes out better than expected, watch out above because the market could go absolutely crazy. Clover up here. I saw a few people mentioning this. 9% for Clover. I mean, it doesn't take much to get 9%, but apparently Chelsea Clinton has disclosed a 100,000 share position in CLOV, guys.
That
makes me want to sell.
That's the only reason it's up? Seriously? Okay. You know what? The first thing you said is probably the most important one there, to keep some perspective. And we talked about this the last time there were rallies. These percent moves on stocks that have done this, I'm looking at the daily chart, got to take them with a grain of salt, man. If it's come down 100% or 300%, or in this particular case, you do the math, what's $30 to $2.40? Look, the reality is when you move that far back, and that goes for anything that's pulled back, that was a high flyer that's getting destroyed. These bounces are going to seem huge, and it's great for a trader, but in the grand scheme of things, that is basically not a move. It's good for anyone that has the bottom, and it's good for anyone trading because you can realize some of those types of moves, but that's barely moving the needle, and it's not doing a ton of volume. If anything, yeah, I'm not really seeing why that, whatever. 250 was a level going back to last week. That's worth talking about here. And then from there, you can kind of see what happened to this stock between 60 and 80. It just hung up in that range. I don't think it gets past that. I don't think this news does that either, but I'll look at it and I'll have 250 on the radar. Plus, we can probably short it, but I'm a little surprised that it's up 10% on that news, but it's not like there's a lot of volume anyway. So the chance of follow through feels like it's slim. But with this name or any other beaten up name, always look at the open. You don't want to write it off because at 9:30 volume could come in. It doesn't really take much for these things to go, so worth having a look at some of those levels. 250 break probably gets you a scalp trade, but in the time I've looked at it, even just calling it up now, there actually hasn't been a print since I was talking about it, like maybe a couple of hundred shares.
So Clover's like market cap is, let me just see, is it over $1 billion? Yeah. So 1.12 billion. Their sales, 1.5 billion. Okay, so I think Clover is definitely an undervalued company at these levels. Chelsea Clinton is a board member, so it's not like it's a random purchase here by just somebody out of the blue. So for me, it doesn't really matter who bought it, but you know, it obviously is a name. It's a Clinton, so obviously we all know about those stories. We don't need to get political about that, but 290 here, a good level. Look, I just think it's a completely undervalued company when you're looking at some of their metrics. But again, you know, these companies still need to make money. They don't. They lost $600 million last quarter, last year. And you know what? Until they make money, it's probably not going to be an investable name, but I think it's a good day trade today, and we'll see. It's only done 660,000 shares. It's not done a lot. The 50-period moving average is at 280, but they're forecasted to do over $2 billion in revenues, $2 billion with a market cap of $1 billion. So, you know, if you look at that and you kind of think about some of the other names that got hit, maybe Clover was punished a little bit too much to the downside. But hey, I mean, a lot of these stocks have price targets in mind of 0. So we'll wait to see where it goes. But $2, I think it's definitely worth a swing here. If you had a 6-month or so price, you know, target and you can hold for a little while, you know, you might get your money back on this one. So let's wait to see what happens. I'm stuck long on Clover. I don't know where anymore. PaySafe, Clover, they're all like the same kind of garbage. So we'll wait. But I do like the fact that they're sub or close enough to $1 billion market cap. That seems pretty interesting.
Yeah, a bit of a fun headline for Clover. Limelight Networks, my apologies, acquiring Yahoo's Edgecast this morning in a deal worth $300 million. This was halted pre-news, so we got a pop up 11.5% here, back above 4 for LLNW. Not a lot of volume on that news, but worth a note there for that one as well. Let's bring in Arun, get a quick check of the overall market here, Arun. Very headline sensitive, I guess is a good way to put it, heading into the brand new week. What do you think today? But more importantly, how much action do you think is going to come before that CPI number on Thursday?
Well, I mean, every day, like you said, it's going to be headline driven. Every day there's going to be a market move where you notice a crazy move in crude. I don't know if anyone saw that. It popped all the way to 130 and now sitting at 118 and change. So big moves there. And obviously with that, when crude does that, market does the opposite. And here we are kind of bouncing back from 42.40 on the low end, which coincidentally was in that target area where I was looking for longs. Obviously, if you're not trading overnight, you're not going to catch that. So that idea is gone. But the strength of this overnight move, I think, could set up a decent move to the back to the top end of the range. Remember, we're sitting in a really wide range, right? 4,500 up top on the top end of the wide range, 41.95 on the bottom end of the wide, pretty much the bottom end of the wide range. And here we are kind of bouncing in the middle. So you are going to see bounces off the bottom that have space to go. And I think that's what we saw a little bit here overnight. And now we're sitting at 4,200, stabilizing above 4,200. I just want to see what this market brings if we were to crack 4,200 one more time. If there's stability, I think you can take a shot at the long. And this is one of those trades where you're trying to trade inside the range. So you have to be kind of you have to set up the trade properly, and you can use levels that are there, but they're not going to be the same as, hey, range breakouts or range trading. You are trading inside the range, so it's a little bit more delicate of an operation, but still there is potentially a trade here on the long side if we can stabilize on a sell move. I'm just waiting for a sell move to come through. If we can find some buying on a sell move, then I have enough to go for a long. I'd use 42.60 as the potential support level, or the intermediate stop anyways, and then see if we can get a move back towards the top end of the range, which could be in that 43.50 area, going all the way up towards that 4,400. But for the time being, I'm looking for a sell move. It doesn't look like this market wants to give a sell move just yet, but we've seen the open. The open brings a decent amount of volume, and sometimes it's those flash moves in one direction that just changes completely. So we're gonna wait for that, see if we can get a sell move, stabilize, and then go for a long there. In the event that we do run up all the way to that 43.50, we can start looking for shorts at that point. Same area from Friday, right? 43.85 was the top end of that little area that I was working with on Friday. So if we can get into that area, we can potentially fade it. But again, need these setups. If you're trying to play inside the range, you're trying to do these fancy things, you do need setups that are really, really solid before you take those shots, because they can easily just go a little bit past your stop and then come right back in. So you want to avoid that. But those are the two ends that I'm looking at right now. Potentially, if you can get a sell move, as I say that, market takes off to 43.17. So I guess we'll be waiting a little bit longer.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow. Yeah, on the way possibly to positive territory here for the S&P. Let's jump into everything else you need to know this morning. That is the link to the watch list, guys. We send it out every morning in the pre-market before we come on. Miss V will have that for you if you ask her very, very nicely in the chat. She'll give you that link to the watch list. All you need is your email address. Let's go to Bed Bath & Beyond this morning. 25% on the short side still for Bed Bath & Beyond, guys. But it's all about Ryan Cohen today.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've traded it, and I don't know. There's some talk here, obviously, on the chat. You know, if the dude took a 10% stake, it doesn't mean he's not out. So, I mean, we could see he might be out right now. I mean, that's a monster move. He can make his hundreds of millions of dollars and be out of this. I don't know. Let's just wait to see what happens here off open. It's obviously 20 million shares. The volume down, maybe we can show big screen. I can't. Hold on a second. Let me just get this. I'm trying to show this. Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Thanks, guys. You can see right here, the volume's not really going anywhere. It seems to be staying pretty high on this name. We just did cash out there at 34.25 off of some of these longs. We've been reloading it all morning. The easiest trade for me probably today has already been made. It was just this break in the pre-market. I mean, we wrote it down on the sticky note at Trader TV. Sean, you can go find it. And then we just reloaded it on the way down in here when it came back through. We reloaded it twice there back up to the upside. Took one more piece out at 32 and then another one here at 34. So now we basically just wait for the high side. And I don't, you know, we can sit here and say, oh, there's this percent short. I mean, what is the short anyways? 27, something like that. Let's just check it out right here live for you guys on FinViz, BBB. I know Brendan's going to have a different number on Icon, but they seem to be pretty.
The same, I think.
They seem to be pretty close here. Yeah, sorry, 25.5 here on FinViz. So there is a short percentage. It is kind of reading similar to what we thought with GameStop and AMC, where the first day you get this monster bump up on a name that's really been beat down here, suffering through COVID, supply chain issues, so on and so forth. And then someone takes a position based on something, and once again, it's going to be Ryan Cohen. I mean, what has he done? Let's just put it this way. What has he done with Chewy? I mean, I'm an investor in Chewy. Has nothing to do with him. I got involved with this name at IPO pricing, and I think we're not even far away from that now. Chewy's been up and down. Here it is. Chewy has a $100 pin on it for sure at some point here to the upside. And now look at it. It's just been getting bled throughout, right? So I'm not sure how much of a genius this guy is or not. Like, it was 120 bucks all the way down here to 40, 45. Why don't you take, you know, a bigger stake in your own company? But to me, it's an interesting name to watch. I'm not hating on it. I'm already up huge on this name and continue to look at it, and we'll be looking at it all day. So I'm light into the position now. I only have less than 10%, or sorry, more than 10% of this initial position, but overall on all the shares we've had, we have about 15% or so of what's left. So we're gonna hold out for this. Hopefully we can get higher highs here. If we do break back down below this 28.75, then I'm gonna be out of this last piece. So that's that. 28.75 break, the same break we took early. We're going to get out of that one, but it's already been a major, major monster day. So we'll be dropping the bangs early here for Bed Bath & Beyond. And let's just wait to see how it trades, man. You take out this 35 and it's giddy up to the north side. I told you my offer's at 39.25, and I really have a feeling it gets hit. So we'll just wait to see. I mean, you either have a run off the open or you don't. It's really that simple. That's why my offer to get out is where I got in, and then we'll let the rest ride for a higher note. And maybe we will punch along if it breaks 35. So let's wait to see what happens here.
The last two parabolic squeezes on this thing, one of them was post-earnings. Actually, I think they were both post-earnings, actually. But they've both faded hard, but both did it, if you look at it, the next day. And if you look at where we actually, it got to that 40 level, got to 50 here, and then the lower high was at 40 bucks. But the second time, now I'm going back to June of 2021, we managed to actually at least open up at 42. So it opened near those highs. And the same thing happened the earnings day. Like, it actually capitulated much larger on that second day action. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if it was able to close up a little bit higher. obviously it would go without saying that 40 and 50 makes sense for levels that it could turn around on, and it's free shorts. So a lot of day traders, when it's free locates, a lot of day traders will be all over this thing if it gets to $40 trying to short it, which means you could have breaks of levels and capitulation upside before any kind of major turns on the end of a breakout. Halt becomes a distinct possibility with this. Obviously, it only has to move like $3 or $4 at a time to go into a halt state. That could certainly happen off of that open. I'm not really thinking about fading this unless it's that 40 level. 40 off the open or multiple halts are the ways to play this one. And I said to myself, if there's any breakout in GameStop, I'm fading it just based on. If somehow there is a sympathy rally, it's a fade for me on GameStop. We'll see if it happens.
Easy to borrow, a very interesting point there that we have to kind of keep an eye on with Bed Bath & Beyond today. It's worth noting, guys, the talks between Russia and Ukraine apparently have begun once again. They were scheduled for this morning, so that is happening currently. We'll let you know any headlines that do come from that. If you missed it this morning, before these discussions, Russia came out and essentially laid out 3 stipulations or 3 criteria that they need to be met, which, to be honest, in my opinion, doesn't seem that difficult, but we'll see what comes from this. But just a heads up again. I want to talk about oil here because we are coming back in, as we said, on the price for crude. But let's take a different angle here. I just brought up UAL, guys. One of the reasons that travel stocks were hit so hard all week last week was the increase in costs. Obviously, fuel costs just absolutely enormous. With oil up here, you can see the daily chart, just 50 up here. We're all the way down to 35 for UAL. Even some of these travel names starting to get a bit of a bounce.
Look, you juxtapose what's going on in the futures. NASDAQ up 200 points, almost green. The ES up 60 and almost turning green. You're not getting anything right now out of the airlines. It's just, when I looked at the cruise lines, it was basically the same thing. So you're not really seeing much of a relief, unfortunately. I would have thought that this might have been a nice little area that you get a bit of a bounce, you pop over, and realize that, hey, all these are breaking down off of major support and haven't really had a chance to find a bottom yet. So that might be the reason that they're not really bouncing here, is there is no obvious support since we've broken these levels. $15 in AAL, I think it was about the $18 level on CCL and NCLH, or those 2 names. So I'm staring right here at 13.90 to 14 even, and just looking for any kind of a bounce play. If the market's going to follow through and turn green today, and oil is not going to rebound, it would just shock me if we couldn't have these names start to be involved. So I'm looking for them to make a final base here. If you had actually had a day worth of consolidation, I think I'd just be playing a breakout. But even as I look at the level 2, the offer is stacked against the bid here. Unfortunately, that means not a ton of strength and not a ton of volume just yet. A lot of the volume came through on some dark pool prints. I know it says it's done 1 million shares, but a lot of that just happened on a couple of massive prints. So 13.90 to 14 on AAL is the level I like. If it can hold that at the open and we're still holding 43 on the ES and going upside, or just turning green, I want to take a shot at some of the travel names for a bit of a bounce back day. How they could not participate if we go red to green here today is beyond me.
I mean, I've been saying for a hell of a long time here about oil and about how it would affect airlines, and I couldn't believe that it really hadn't affected it yet. And I mean, I know that they're hedged, and I get it, and it's nice, but I just feel like, the price of oil has just gotten way out of hand, and I don't think you can really hedge that far in advance. And again, that's not my business. I don't follow the airline sector, nor do I really know if that's what they've done. But I'm looking at CCL, and I consider it kind of like the same thing as a lot of these names. Obviously, they need to use crude, and they need to get going, with their huge monster ships. I don't even know, what kind of, use these ships have here in the energy space. It must be ridiculous. But you could see we are touching bottoms. To have been here on Friday, I don't even know if we touched it. No, it looks like that was today or Friday night or something here in the aftermarket where we went down to that $16. But you can see here on Friday a nice early dump from 18 down to 17 in the first 30 minutes, then a battle back, then another tank down here. So I don't know, Russia, Ukraine, they're meeting now in Belarus apparently, so that should be good for oil, I would think, if they can get some kind of a ceasefire or some kind of a deal I don't know. I mean, we already know, we've already talked about it, so I'm not going to go over that. But I think CCL down there at those levels are buyable. And you're down here to 1650. We've already touched that. We'll wait to see if the tank does come through. Here's the daily chart. Don't know why we don't load behind September, but you could see, I'm looking at this level right here where we had huge volume back in November, December. This is a daily chart. So it was late November, early December that we made these 16 bottoms, and the bottom came at 1650. So I'm willing to support that 1650 level. So let's put a bid at 1670. I give a big shout out to, I don't know if he's here, but I give a big shout out to Daryl, because I know that you trade, Daryl Flinch, I know that you trade CCL a lot. So what are your thoughts if you're in the chat down here near 1650? I'm going to put a bid right now at 1670 and see if we can respect this bottom of 1638, which I believe is the 52-week low, but I'll double check the charts here as we go. There it is. I checked on e-signal. It's 1632. So let's see. If we're going to use a bottom, let's use 16 as a bottom, and we'll work from there. First area of entry for me, 1670 on CCL. I like it. And with green on today, as the market getting ready to rally back, we like the green. Get this Palantir hat out of the shot. I'm going to throw it over there.
It is green.
It is green, yeah. I noticed the shot that we got your water bottle there. You got to turn this little maple leaf guy around.
It is bigger.
So everybody can see. Yeah, the shot is bigger. I don't know if we want that or not, but it's nice. There's the hockey guy. Back over there, as I digress, Miss V.
Hey trading family, I remind you to like this video. Please let's get at least 1,000 likes before the open, as we usually do. And now let's continue with Brandon.
Yeah, let's continue along. We'll go on to Uber, guys, out with a improved forecast this morning for both the current quarter and the remainder of the year, talking about their digital business going to be better than expected. So positive notes right across the board here for Uber.
Yeah, look, Uber has been disappointing, to say the least. That's not saying much. Like, it's been ridiculously disappointing, and it's still very expensive, by the way. So, it's getting absolutely shellacked. The good news here is you did make a capitulation bottom on Friday that was below recent support, like that $30 level. You go back on the daily, you kind of have that, retest of this, and we said, oh my goodness, if it breaks that low, you got 28.5, and that's what we were concerned about this week when we went over the chart. And then you had that capitulation bottom. You're going to make a nice consolidation above that 30 level, which is exactly the level I'm looking at here today, thinking we can hopefully bounce in front of it. Like, there's still, you mentioned Clover trading at 1-to-1 times.
Yeah.
1-to-1 time sales. Yeah. Uber's like 3 or maybe even more. Well, I guess they just revised their profit numbers, but anyways, 3 to 3.5 times sales. And, they're sort of teetering, like, depending on how you're accounting, whether they make a profit or not. But generally speaking, they don't, but you can always swing the accounting your way. So I'm looking at 30 just because they have the catalyst here today, and it feels like a name that's trying to make a temp bottom. And realistically, if the market wants to try to go up today, anything that has a positive catalyst like Uber, I do have a look. I want to have a look-see, especially with that 30 level in play for us here today. If it does make a big move, I think you can kind of tell the levels I'll probably be looking to fade. And it would have to be a pretty big one, but I look at that multi-day high when it fell off a cliff. It's not just getting to a level, it's what does it do when it runs away from it? And that 34 to 34.5, man, it just runs away from that price last couple times it's been there. So that high, I'd be fading, but in front of 30, I'll take a shot at a long on an Uber. We'll see what happens. And I just mentioned AAL there, and then 150,000 share bid showed up at 1430, so it looks like things getting a little bit active, at least on some of the travel names.
I mean, we just reloaded Bed Bath & Beyond at VWAP, and then we just made 80 cents. Like, I honestly, this is why it just takes one good trade. You don't even need to be looking at any of these other names. Like right there, look at that reload right there. I mean, we just reloaded this name at VWAP, the same thing we did here. We got this price, and then it rips up $1. We're $1, like we're talking about Uber. Oh, will it fall $1 from here? I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. And Uber's on my list as well, and I'm gonna talk about that. But you just got $1 right there in 30 seconds on Bed Bath & Beyond. Day traders unite. You have to look at these names. But there's Bed Bath & Beyond, another one. So we're going to go good for that one. And all right, Uber. I wrote down the same levels as Neil. Obviously, it's not rocket science here on Uber. If we can come back down and test this $29 level, then that's a long for me. They have guided there, like Neil mentioned. The guide was, I think it was the term profitability, right?
Yeah, forecasting a profit.
Yeah, just a little bit of an upgrade or up move on the guidance from 130 to 150 there from instead of 100 to 130. So a million. So a nice little move up for Uber. We'll see. And again, you know, oil's affecting this as well. Like, are they going to have to up their rates? Are they going to have to up their charges, their surcharges, things like that on Uber? But it's nice. They're talking about Uber Eats. And I think that's the advantage that they have over a Lyft and other companies like that because they do have lots. I always talked about Uber Freight. I thought that was a great opportunity moving forward, and I still think it is. Might be their best. So Uber Eats does have DoorDash and a few other competition issues, but you know, people continue to use them. They're sponsoring all over the place. And if they can start to turn a profit, I know their customer acquisition is huge, but I feel like once customers are in the pipeline, like I only really use Uber Eats, although I haven't used it in a long time, I still feel like it's the best opportunity to go long on any of these names because of the valuation where you're at. It's still 62 billion market cap, which is crazy for a company that doesn't make money, but they do have 17 billion in sales. So like Neil said, you're about that 3 to 4 to 1 there.
That's 3.5. That's actually,
yeah. So it's there. It's not great. But again, with the market cap moving up, sales getting better, Uber is a name to look out for. So yeah, I'm just really happy with this BBBY trade. I'm going to continue to focus on this with only 10 minutes to go.
All right, we'll touch on banks here quickly, guys. Worth a note, this is going to be an important week, whether it's today or whether it's later on in the week for the banking sector ahead of CPI inflation data coming out on Thursday. Remember, Fed coming up on the 15th as well. We had a huge move back down on these geopolitical concerns in the 10-year and some of the Treasury yields coming back to the downside last week. So all the banks were under pressure, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We are lower here across the board for the group, but trying to get back to the upside. We touched on WFC a little bit. I mean, they all kind of look like this, guys. Still 1% here for Wells Fargo, but do we see, you know, a red to green type of move here for the banks as well?
Well, look, it's kind of like travel. Only I think when we first mentioned it at the beginning of the show, I just don't love it as much. It's just I'm not seeing the volume. Specifically Citigroup, which is one that we've been talking about the most here. It's like a short till it's not type of event, and you know, I feel like it's not above that 57.5 to 58 area until we get there. I'm a little disappointed that there's no volume here today, breaking us back to the upside. Like this move in the market up, like it's a pretty specific one, right? Like there's a lot of tech names that are doing really well right now, but the banks and travel, they're just not moving the needle or participating in this. So I see relative weakness. And if a rug pull happens at the open, you know, I think going for the long on something like a Citi might get you into a little bit of trouble, guys. So, you know, I'm not a huge fan of anything but allowing them to try to pop and then fade. There's buying opportunities to be had, like Sean mentioned. If we're talking about the other side of our brain here, you mentioned Morgan Stanley. Yeah, absolutely. You know, buying TD on dips already, and Morgan Stanley makes some sense around $80 if it can get there. But for the day trade, yeah. And by the way, if you see these wicks on the chart, like Morgan Stanley didn't print down to 25. It was a weird couple-month period where there's some crazy prints that were coming late at pandemic lows, right? That's all that's happening. Why they reported that late, who knows? But Morgan Stanley has some interesting support in and around that 80 area. When it gets there, I think it does find a bit of a bounce, but hasn't really consolidated at all yet.
I like WFC. I mean, we've done really well on the banks lately, trading Citigroup and WFC. We didn't do so good on JP Morgan a couple weeks ago, or maybe even last week, but you could see right here, WFC, if we take out this 49 level, why not give this a shot here on WFC? I think this is a nice spot, nice opportunity. We did dip down below there on Friday when I wasn't here trading, and I don't know if I would have been, but it's a nice move to the downside here, down to 48. I feel like this gets the bump every time more than all other banks. So we'll wait to see here. It's really 48.90 or so for the long here on WFC. I'm going to push it, so we'll push that and see we get taken out there on the bid, and we'll go higher here. And this is for you, day trading mom. We're going to lift the ask here and take it out at $49 when they're sitting here. I'm actually thinking about this level. I think we'll just do 48.90 breaker 19. Do you read on WFC? I'm actually going to add that to the sticky note. So those of you that don't get Twitter here, I've tweeted it out a little bit already. We don't have it. We have Bed Bath & Beyond. We haven't got to AMD yet, but 109.50. I really like that level. If we start to go, I like Ford down here at $16. What's up, Ford? We've already talked about Uber at 29, yeah, that 28.75 level on BBBY. You see with the star there, that's my whole day. So the day's already done. We could stop trading here and I'd have my best day. We talked about that, but we're not going to do that. So we'll wait to see BBBY if it does come back in. But I am going to add right now, we'll put this back on here just so that you guys just could see it there. But I'm going to put on here WFC breaking this 48.80 level. I really like that as a trade as well. So watch out for that bank. And here we go, WFC just now bumped up like 30 cents. Come on, guys. Just because we say that doesn't mean you hit the buy keys. Over to you, Brendo.
I want to mention Tesla here quickly, guys. There was some concerns at the end of the week for their Berlin Gigafactory as far as the timing on how it was going to get ramped up. Nothing major as far as headlines. More importantly, Tesla was among the first, if not the first, to go red to green this morning and is holding very nicely at the top end of the pre-market range here, right in front of some key levels from Friday for Tesla, guys, looking pretty strong.
If my chart wants to load for Tesla, it's gonna, yeah, it's probably gonna work. Your Tesla chart working?
I don't know. I'm not even on it, but
so look, I mean, Tesla did get a bump, and like Brendan said, the key thing was that it was one of the first things that I saw go red to green. Whatever, my chart doesn't want to break here, but 850 is still that key price level on Tesla, and it's been sort of back and forth off of that high. There we go. No, it's kind of loading right now. Yeah, back and forth off that top.
You can come to my screen and then Neil can talk if you want. It's the same daily chart.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Like, it's that 850 level. We've been breaking it multiple times here. It's just a matter of us actually pushing through. So I think 55 to 60 is a little bit more important for Tesla here today. The relative strength definitely is abound for it, because I did notice it was the first thing to go that we could tell. But it needs to get through 55,
that
60.
bottom's 825.
Yeah, that 8.25. I don't know if we get 8.25. I think we have a better chance of getting some decent dip buys in the chip names and maybe getting it in Tesla here. But yeah, breakout hopefully happens. Might have already come and gone, but we break that 55. I think you're headed to that 880 area that was so good the last few weeks.
All right, we don't have much time to go here, but here's AMD right here at 108.50. That little higher level right now is the one that we're most concerned about. We only have 4 minutes to go. We haven't even looked at the imbalances yet, but that's 109.50 right around here. So we'll see about that. It's Friday's high as we opened up the day. I mean, we opened up the day at 112, but I mean, it's that level here, 109.50, that we really like in AMD. I don't want to push the long. Bed Bath & Beyond has come back down below. It could break 30 bucks here. We will get to that. We're trying to do other things. But here's AMD. We will not reload a bottom here. We're going to wait to see when the bottom does come through on AMD. Obviously, there's some action down here at 104. The market is taking off right now, so we do like that play here on AMD. 109.50 break for AMD is one that I'm going to be looking at. But let's go over to Brendan right now with a little bit small cap look.
All right, there's a ton, as we said, of these little tiny oil stocks. This is one of them, 9 on New York. Up with crude, but fading with crude as well. If I could short this one, I would, but we're having some issues with our system to get locates today. Pretty clear support here, 255 to 250 being developed in the pre-market. Just be aware, you got to give it all the way back to basically day highs, 325 up to 350 as far as resistance, but bit of a gap here to look at if you do have the availables, guys.
Yes, sir. And look, there's a lot of those, and we'll talk about quickly about INDO. Just it's already capitulated. It'll show up 10%, but that's just because it gapped from 40 all the way up to the mid 50s and is now fallen multiple times here. It looks like it's about to make a 45 break, but the volume's starting to taper off. If it makes the push higher, I'd be fading 50s just with oil coming off. It makes a lot of sense to me. You're actually getting a bump on AMD right now. If it wants to do that, is there enough? Here we go. You're getting a bump on AMD right now through this 108.50 area. So it looks like it is on the way. I have 109.65. I think it's the distinction without a difference on my 15-minute chart for AMD. And then alert to BCEL. This is the one right at the end of the day on Friday. This is the stock that went from $3 to $7.50 in the final 10 minutes of our show on Friday. Well, sorry, in the final 10 minutes, and then the aftermarket. It's starting to come off here. We actually can short it. I'm shorting Pops to 465. That was double barrel support on Friday. This is not a small cap oil stock. It's actually a biofarm, the only small cap that wasn't energy related that was actually running last week. Looks like it's about to take out, just took out $4, but I'm fading it to 465. Went absolutely haywire on essentially nothing. They did report earlier in the week, and it was a beat, but it's starting to come back in here on BCEL.
I'm really feeling like there might be an algo or something. Like I didn't even mention AMD, and as soon as I did, the stock jumps $1 when the futures aren't doing anything. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm flattered. The same thing happened with WFC. So I don't know, but if that is a false move up because we mention it, that's fine. Let's let this thing come back into 107.60. That's not the intention. Obviously, I don't want to mention something and then the stock rips up when I'm not already long. Right now, so watch out for this 107 bottom. I have no idea why AMD just ripped there other than it happened the minute after I said it, so that's not a good sign for me, but we'll wait to see here what AMD does, and I don't think that's the reason. It's just ironic that that happened. Okay, so Bed Bath & Beyond comes back down. This is why we're holding that 10%, not even of all of this, but that reload worked for $1 and not much more, so we didn't even get over the imbalances yet, but I apologize for that. Quickly, as someone's running right now, hopefully not dying, Brendan. Oxy, Bank of America, XOM, as you can see there, Neil, a lot of oil and banks on the board today.
Yeah, dropping the counts on Miss V is on the bell. She was like doing the little twirl
Is that
thing.
what she was doing? Okay.
And the wave. It's a pretty good wave there, but 3, 2, and 1. Ring it. Yeah.
All right, we are now open, so now we can see the real volume start to come in on some of these plays. So here goes, whoopsies, here goes Bed Bath & Beyond. Just hit the wrong key there. We're going to wait to see where this goes from now. It's coming right back in. We already have our target. We'll give back some money here for sure if it takes down this 28.75 to the downside. That's going to be a good punch short too, I would think. So if you did want that play, watch out for that. Coming through right now, 28.75 on Bed Bath & Beyond. That's why we hit that and not quit that, but almost quit that early. So here goes Bed Bath & Beyond right back down to the downside. Here it goes. We're going to be out once this breaks. So we can either sit here and watch that or not. And I guess we maybe went a little bit lower than that. But it is going to be coming out in a matter of seconds here as Bed Bath & Beyond looking to break. I just looked. It's 28.50 level here on BBBY.
Yeah, going the other direction right away is, give me a break, charts. 109 just got taken on AMD, that is. Looks like it's trying to pull back in here. The market is still sort of trying to scream here, 43.2 as we're on the ES and 13.9 approaching on the NASDAQ. I like 109.65 for a bit of a break, but if it resists that price area, I'm definitely going to be buying the dip in this off those pre-market highs. So 108 and change will be on the bid just in case there is a bit of a pullback off of those key levels. But watch out for your Bed Bath & Beyond. That B-cell, whatever, it just decides to flush without us here. And IMPP also heading into the downside, guys. So there is some strength in the market overall, but you're seeing the high flyer names starting to come back in. Uber made a break and then fade at the open. Looks like it's trying to get to the upside. Might not give you those 30 fills that we've been looking for.
All right, man. I mean, this has gotten crazy here on Bed Bath & Beyond. As you can see, we went long and then we got out again, and we went long again here at 28.50. I want to punch 28.50 one more time if we can, but it's big sell volume coming in. So we gave back some of that hit there. We went long and reloaded it and got out, and then it tanked again. So right now we're going to wait. Our last trade was a good one. It was the reloads, and you're seeing a lot of people coming in and starting to sell Bed Bath & Beyond right now. So it's got to take out that same level again, man. I'm going to use 20. There it is. So now we're long again, 28.50. But look at that bottom. We're just going to try to respect that 27.90, which might be coming in again. There was big size that got taken out and it ripped up. So we're still looking at AMD, 109.50, sorry. If that breaks, we like AMD. And then we're going to wait for Uber, and then we got to look back at Ford as well. We're not done with that.
And there's give me a break. AAL also bouncing to the upside immediately. So Uber, no dip buy, just runs. AAL, same thing. You're getting the airlines pushed to the high side. If it comes back down, I'm looking 14.3, 14.35. There was a buyer at 14.30 and the pre-market at 150,000 shares. So maybe they bought it at the open. That's where I'll look for first support. For Bed Bath & Beyond, like now that it's starting to capitulate, $26 is about the level that I think might make some sense for a bit of a bid. And INDO, goodness, INDO, it's starting to fall off even heavier. Tried to get up to 50s. Remember I said if it pumps to 50, you short that, but we have no locates on it. It's all the way back at 43 even. If this takes out 40 today, things could get real ugly real fast. And there goes AMD through the top.
Oh, crap. Did I not get that then? I thought I had an
51 to print it?
There we go. Okay, so I'm long 52 now on AMD. So we'll wait to see here as it does go to the top. We did like this trade. Unfortunately, we didn't have it early enough, man. We just take the top. This always happens to me. We're going to have to wait to see what happens here on the bottom for AMD right now. But let's go over to Brenda. What's up?
Alibaba, guys. I was just trying to check on that. Big move out of the gate here for BABA. Took out $100 there on huge volume at the open for Alibaba.
Oh, I didn't realize it was below a hundy there. Okay, 108 maybe as a level for AMD to come back in here. No idea, but this name here right now failing. We did see a BBBY take there. It's going to look like our last in was 28.50. We just got out at 28.90 for a piece, but now it's falling back down. So we thought we'd be, there it is, now we're out. So we thought we'd be scalping this one today, and it looks like that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So now we're going to have to wait to see if this thing falls. And yeah, it looks like they pulled the rug on this. Remember I said, like, what is Ryan Cohen's probably out? Oh, look at this, Ms. V. This is the one thing. Thank you so much for the coffee reload. No one can even see it.
Oh, wow. Clover's starting to go.
On the side. What's up with Clover?
Clover bounced. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it did. It took that 250, and then it bounced off 250. It looks like that 265, next level to the upside, being taken. I just got the dip buy into AMD, so we'll see that one finally hit for me. So this is that chop area we're sort of talking about here, 65 up to 80. Looks like we're trying to take the top end of the range on Clover. It's a buy till 250 that makes some sense to me. And the market's starting to pull back in. So if you're looking for dip buys, then now is essentially when you're going to start to get them. That brings me back over to AAL, which, yeah, it doesn't want to dip any further than 1440. I'm going to be patient with this, with the market coming down. And a halt alert, IMPP, that's now halted at 504. So it continues to be wild with these oil names. That's an up halt. I'd be fading this if I could. I don't think I'm going to get the chance because we have no locates, but it's an upward halt on IMPP, indicating a 505 flat open. Halted at 04 is indicating an 05 open.
Okay, so we did get a nice little bump up there in AMD. We did reload that, so we're going to have to wait to see where we go on this one. A reload down here on AMD, and then an out right there at VWAP, well, almost at VWAP there. 108.70, VWAP's at 108.80. Let's see if we can fly to the high side. We're using 107 down here as our bottom for AMD. What's up, Brendo?
Yeah, Palantir, guys. We saw it on the upgrade side of the board this morning. Nice move here off the open from 11 up to 1175 on huge volume for PLTR.
Oh, man. I missed that Clover because I was waiting at 241. Yeah, good move there for Palantir. Hey, I can't.
That was a great move. We'll bring a little register for the first dip buy in AAL there. We just took it in front of that pre-market. Look, it's that pre-market breakout point at 1435. We'll grab some out in front of 50, see if we can't hold through the high of the day there. And look, if you don't get that first move, just wait around and see if it comes back to you. This market just held 4,300 on the ES and the NASDAQ. Doing pretty good up at that top. AMD, I'm going to take some out in front of that high of the day if we can. 108.50 is what we got. So if we can get 109 and change on the way to that high, then see if we can't rinse and repeat. We'll go for that trade. Going back over to Bed Bath & Beyond, did not get down to 26. Check that, yeah, 27, trying to consolidate here. It might have another leg in it. 26 is the level I like the heck of a lot better. I think when retail comes in at 7, and then buys it back up here at 25. Well, it looks like 25 and a half, 26. That's a level I'd be a little bit more confident buying. So we just have the two longs. They look pretty good for now. We'll go hunt over at that Clover trade, see if we can put a third on. I'd be, like I said, we had no locates. Usually you'd see me short a bunch of things right now. We didn't have locates in all those oil names that got absolutely shellacked. So I'm not going to force the trade shorting something I don't want to.
Yeah, Clover maybe has a 280. I still can't believe that we missed that Clover bid. I was waiting at 240 again for the reload, but Ford, if it takes out 1680 maybe, could start to go as well. We got to watch these futures, man. They really need to start to go here, or else, yeah, some of these longs like AMD, which we're fine, man. We're in the money now on AMD, so it's working out. But here it is right here, 1678 really. I'm going to see if we get a 1680 break here on Ford, but it's pretty low, so I don't know if that's going to come through or not. Maybe we'll cancel that and go look at Clover, something that's actually moving. What's up, Brendo?
Infrastructure name, guys. CP, I guess, rail name. CP up 1.5% here. Bill Ackman, Pershing Square, disclosing 2.8 million shares of a position in Canadian Pacific.
Oh, Ackman, do your thing, buddy. I just rang register on the first bit of that AMD trade, guy. Taking out 26 or 27 now was just Bed Bath & Beyond, so it's into that channel. It hasn't halted once. Oddly enough, it manages to resist a halt almost exactly when it broke 30. I think the same thing would be the case on this little 28 break here. So 26 is the level I wanted to try to defend. Realistically, it's still up $10 from that point, so it's a high flyer, obviously. But if it wants to make a bid, I think it's where that retail tried to come back into it. Oh, my goodness, INDO. People are like, oh, yeah, INDO was not capitulating. Well, it went from 50 down to 43. Now we've halted to the upside along with IMPP. I showed you IMPP because I think that halted first. Indicated open here, 52.13, so flat. So both indicated to open, I think, exactly where they did close, in front of those pre-market highs. Whipsaw action on both of these names. I think all of them, if you probably add that MTC or MXC from last week, probably doing the same thing. And that B sell, that was that farmer one that we wanted to sell at the open. That's what happens when you miss by 10 cents. That's already down $1, so that one might be gonzo. It's not going anywhere but down. If it catches a bid, maybe it can do so at 350, but at this point, I'd be giving up on that name. AAL, just checking back in on it. It did get to the high of the day. Did not make a break as the market is pulling back in. Need 4,300 to hold on the ES. If that can do it, I think AAL is going to take out that top. But if we crack that, we may not get more than we already taken on this AAL trade, guys. So unfortunately, the market is coming back in and showing some signs of weakness. Uber, on the other hand, is still going. I'm canceling my bid in front of 30. I wanted that dip buy at the open. At this point, maybe it'll have to be 30.50 if we catch any kind of a dip. So AAL and AMD we're going to have to hold on to. Bed Bath & Beyond still holding around 27. It might not give you 26.50. Might have to chase that one up just a little bit.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing here. We've got a monster on AMD. We got some out there at 109.40. That was a good out. We're going to have to wait to see where that goes. And yeah, we're reloaded now at the bottom. So let's see what happens now with Bed Bath & Beyond. Hopefully we can get a move to the upside now. Here it goes. So we're long right now at 27. It's not that big of a deal, 27.17. I kind of just hit the bid and bought it after this bottom. So we'll see. I mean, if it takes out the bottom, which is 26.60, then we'll be gone on this. I just think it's worth it. See if we can float back up here. Like, this is where you talk about risk versus reward for me. This is going to be like a 50-cent hit, which looks like that might come through. We're flat on the stock right now, so we can change our mind if we wanted to. But it's 50 cents to the downside. And then honestly, like, my first offer is going to be around this 29. Even if we take a 28.50, that's $1.40. That's $1.20 there with a 50-cent worth of risk. So maybe that's the best strategy here. The high right now is 28.30. Let's see if we can get $1 or so. Here it goes on Bed Bath & Beyond. So that's a name, obviously, that we're looking at here to make a little bit of a run. So a nice little 80-cent reload here on Bed Bath & Beyond for another victory. So yeah, it's been a rough ride here this morning if you went long, but maybe we caught the bottom here. I don't know. Let's take a piece out now at 28 and then forget about that 28.50. Then we'll wait for 29 and 30. So we'll take a piece out now just because of the way it's been trading, and we'll hope that AMD can recover a little.
Yeah, there was a bit of an iceberg, not an iceberg, but someone just stepped up on the offer at that 28. I jumped in front, grabbed a few shares out there. And look, if it makes another break to the high side, 30 is going to be the target on this last one. I'm not thinking moonshot here. I'm just thinking sort of obvious levels, and 30 does stand out like a bit of a sore thumb. So I'm going to get on the offer. Oh, they just ate right through that 28 order, so that looks pretty good. Hopefully going to break out there. AMD now retesting a little bit lower. So we got the one scalp trade, that 108.5 into 109. Now we're looking at this area. If we can hold 107.50, not the pre-market lows, but pre-market support going into that open, this is where my next dip is going to go on AMD. If it doesn't hold this, you're looking all the way back at 106. This market is retesting lower. That ES about to break 4,300, so a bit of a key level for the ES. If you're looking at Tesla, this is still relatively strong. It hasn't been able to get through that 865-ish area at the top, and might be due for, if we break 4,300, like, even Tesla, as strong as it's been, looks like it could be due for a bit of a pullback here. So oddly enough, I might be putting those pink shorts on here as Tesla looks like it might be pulling back here.
Yeah, and so does our boy here, AMD. Hold on, let's go to AMD here. As we're reloaded, now it's a good thing we have all these we had some nice winners on Bed Bath & Beyond, because right now AMD is not looking super healthy down to the downside right now. We're going to have to watch out for that 106.50 area to get out of it if it does come back in here. I'm just setting up right now my stop order because there it is. We've averaged into this name, and we're just going to see where it goes. It's all the way to the downside here as the market is cracking lower. We did think long today just because of the Russian news and because oil did pull back a little bit. But again, AMD, there it is, another reload. We were able to get out. Like, this was good. Like, it was a good thing that we took the shot there. Remember what I said, these pre-market high breaks, they just haven't been working. So again, like, learning the lesson is going to cost me a little bit today, but there it is right there again. AMD taking out that pre-market high does not work. So hey, we won't take that anymore. And we talked about that last week. Sometimes it's good, like Uber started to run, but again, you need to really have news. If you're just looking at a stock and you like a level, you gotta let the market settle down before you do anything. So right now, here goes AMD. Let's reload a little bit against that bottom, but we're right here right now, man, 106.50.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick myself because just as I was talking about Tesla there, it just fell like $8 right in front of me. So I was trying to get that offer right at that 62 as we're talking about. I'm not going to chase this to the downside. Not as strong, relatively strong as it's been. That doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. AMD will stop me out at 106.75. That's that support level that we are watching. Going back to Clover for a quick second here, it did just pull back off 275. Right back into that 260 level. So if it's going to give us this lower high, it gave you 250, and then that 260 to 265 was the next level on the 15. I'm going to take a shot in front of that 250, starting to get into Clover. It'll not be on the way up. It'll actually end up being on the way down. And these are the ones that got away here today. So that's INDO, opens back up. It tests the pre-market highs and is immediately halted to the downside. So that's pretty much exactly the setup we like on that halt reopen style trade. It gives it to you almost perfectly. Now halted downside, indicating again a flat open, which feels like it's par for the course. A lot of these names recently, when they're halting, there's not as much volatility if you look at it from halt to reopen. A lot of that move is happening inside. So that game might be done, trying to take it on the halt trade and then getting it on the reopen. No longer going to be doing that. I am grabbing the reload on AAL. This is that 14 level, right at that pre-market low we talked about. We got the first dip and scalped it out. Now we're at the pre-market lows here as the market is trying to bounce off the bottom. So a Clover, Bed Bath & Beyond is back to flat. That 27 area, 27.25 is my long. It's AMD that's going to be in trouble. Everything else on this dip, basically back to flat on, because of course we just picked up AAL back here at 15s.
Yeah, oh yeah. We are loaded in to AMD. So let's hope that can get going back up to the upside. You never like to use those words, hope, but I am dug in, to say the least, here for AMD. Our average price is 107.60. So we'll see if it can get back up. We did nice little averages in here against that bottom. Let's see if it continues to work. We did take a nice piece out, not a nice piece, but a little piece out, I guess. We're long at 69. We're long at 70, it shows. 69 and change, out 74s there on CCL, but you can see this market is still pretty bouncy, man. It's just bouncing around, not doing a whole hell of a lot. No matter what, there we go. I was going to say no matter what, our BBBY will be at least a flat trade, because there it is. We took some out there. Remember we told you at 28 off this 27.15 long, and then for some reason we just got triggered out there at that bottom of 26.80. So Bed Bath & Beyond, still a very, very positive name for me today. Very, very happy with the way this has been trading, but not since the open. It's just been going straight to the downside. And if you, like a lot of you said, let's go congratulations to a lot of you, because I saw there, and it's raining down the cash, I hope, for you as well, because you mentioned it, guys, that you thought this was going to be some kind of a rug pull, and that's exactly what it is. You've made 40% now. It was up 110%. Now you're back down 65%. And why? Because some guy has 10% stake and wants, management to relook at the company. I mean, come on, this stuff happens all the time. Shout out to my Uncle Carl Icahn right there. Exited his Oxy trade. He made just north of $1 billion on this. The dude is like 85 years old, guys, and just sharp as they come. So shout out to you, Uncle Carl. You just crushed that. I'll see you at Easter.
Yeah, that was a crush rate. I mean, it was right after that Anadarko nonsense, Berkshire's got still a bit of a stake there. Look, the stock is performing well, so obviously anyone that's sold up there is going to be looking pretty good. I just wanted to check back in on a couple of other names. We didn't mention this, and apologies. I actually had this on my list this morning. Airbnb at this 140 level. Multi-day support at 140. You can kind of see it here. I'm looking for names as they come back in that might have some support. Airbnb, if we can consolidate there, going to take a quick look. And then Micron at $80. So Micron at 80 even. I just got stopped on AMD. So I'm out of AMD. The first scalp worked. The second did not. And then went over to Micron. It's a weird thing going on with my chart when I move over. But Micron bouncing back right at its 50-period move. Right at its 200-period moving average. Check that, $80 even. Looks like that is already being tested. I just had the bid in front here. I just got a bit of a wick bottom. I'm going to scalp some of this out because the market looks weak. We're well below those support levels now. That 43 has been retaken to the downside. Going to try and get some out in front of 81 if there's even a little bit of a hint of a bounce there in a Micron. Tesla continues to look relatively strong, but I don't know how much longer it's going to be able to hold up here. I did like the short a little bit closer to that 864, 865 area. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get that at all, guys, but I got to be patient. You've now already pulled back like 30 points on the ES. Chasing a short when we've already had that whipsaw down can get you just trapped. So we're in the buys off support levels, and we'll have to play those and be very, very patient with where we can get into some of these shorts.
All right, we got stopped out of AMD as well, but we got back in here now. We tried to get back in the here, guys, in the 50s just hit us. I'm just going to use this wick bottom as the out now, 106.32. We'll see if that's here it comes right now. We're just going to see. Let's see if that holds. Actually, we'll go a little bit lower than that. Let's cancel some of these. Make sure our stops aren't even in right now. I'm going to cancel these Bed Bath & Beyond and these Clover stops, and then have another look at all this. There goes AMD finally. We'll take something out here at 67 if we can get it, and it stops right at us at 67. Hopefully, it comes back up and hits us. Okay, so that's a little bit of a reload there on AMD. Just trying to use this bottom. I think we might use the bottom of 106. That's what we just looked at there on a reload. So we'll see if that can come through for us. And then again, right here, man, CCL. I don't know. We're right at that bottom. It's the 52-week low of 1630. We will try to get a little bit more involved here with this name, but CCL 106.32. We've been trying to catch falling swords here on this name, and I don't know if it's going to be right or not, but we are reloaded in that name right now. Took out, what, for 20 cents right there on AMD in the 70s. We'll see if it can climb up a little bit higher than that. We are at 67. There it is. Now AMD on the reload. We have the most shares we've had now in this name, so if you see your boy trying to get out of some of that, that's why, because yeah, we're reloaded now on AMD, and let's see how high this name wants to fly back up to the upside. So AMD on a reload, and same as CCL.
Yeah, by the way, oil is continuing to track lower. Oxy is on its lows of the day here, but still green, just barely. Double bottom here at 56. Check that, almost a triple bottom here at 56 with oil futures on those lows. I just got first leg out of Micron, so AMD doesn't work. Micron looks like it might at a better level. Brendan has something for us.
There was another positive note on DraftKings I saw this morning, guys, but I mean, down with the overall market here. Just had a big bounce, though, off of 19.5 there for DKNG.
All right. And right now we'll look at this. I mean, I got to monitor the positions I have right now, but DraftKings, definitely a nice one as some of these names starting to go back up to the upside, including CCL. If we can get some of these out in the 60s, man, we didn't even have any offers. It just went to 66. We're long only at 62. So just trying to lick some of the wounds from some of these moves to the downside. Do I think we can get back to the 50 period on the futures? Why not? We're still below that 14,000. I'd like to think about a retest there, but at the same time, this is just very news dependent right here. Like, the market hasn't moved that much. The NASDAQ just been straight to the downside here today. So maybe something can come and try to spark this upside. But for right now, it seems pretty weak moving around here. So CCL down to 1650, 1651. That one was just in the mid 60s and came back in. We did cash something out. Our best out there, 107, which hopefully they can go a lot higher than that on AMD. On another reload, we are negative on this name. And I know I did mention, and this is the thing, when I said my offer for the last 10% of this trade was at 39. I can't sit here. If I would have known this name's going to go to 25.50, I wouldn't have kept getting long. I mean, we're up on the stock today. Let's see what Bed Bath & Beyond has for us now. But it's just tanking to the downside, and I don't really know where it's going to stop. So I'm not going to sit here and play this anymore. You're still up 60%. I still think that's a profit-taking zone for a lot of traders that have come in here, and I'm going to leave it alone until I see something else. So Bed Bath & Beyond, I mean, maybe we take out 27 again. You see where VWAP is in the 50 period is still well below on that one. It looks like pay for shorts are working. Is that what you're doing right now? I think
so. I'm just trying to process a couple right now. By the way, Neo, which I see you guys in the chat, as usual, the best community in the world. I'm looking at Tesla. I'm looking at all these other names, trying to find something which is at those highs. My goodness, $1.25 for Indo? No, I'll pay for IMPP instead, which is 5 cents. Okay, whatever. Relatively speaking, that's just a deal. But anyways, NEO here just churning to the upside, almost at that 20 level. Look at it at the 15-minute, 2030, 2025 to 2030 up at those highs. With the market looking weak, no way that I honestly don't think I should be taking a shot at this to the short side. So I just saw it break. Give me a break. I just saw it break $20, get to 20.03, and then you saw that overhead resistance at 20.25 on the 15-minute, 20.30 or so. Yeah, I'm all over this one. We're going to go to the short side there. And now I will lock in those pay for shorts as well. Going to go with IMPP, just a better price in terms of locate. So it is finally working. A little bit late there because I would have loved to have shorted that 50 level.
103. Yeah, like, so I got more CCL at the bottom. We'll see if it is the bottom. I'm hoping it is. More outs there on AMD as well. And we'll just see, man. The futures are testing lower now. So we got to be very careful. On that note, I was looking for some shorts. And that's where I looked at Alibaba. And I think that this name here, it's kind of barcoded. You guys remember I took $7 or whatever. Maybe it was $6 on Coinbase last week. And it was something very similar to this where we had this nice little barcoding action happening here. It's a little less of a barcode in Alibaba. Okay, I see you. We just took another piece out on AMD, so we'll spend a little bit of money for that last reload on AMD. It hasn't been a great trade, though, so we are waiting on that one, and we also are loaded up now on CCL, so I apologize. I'm not going to be able to switch back and forth between many names. I have way more shares now than I obviously had before, so we're hoping that this market can turn around. NEO is a great trade. I love trading NEO. You guys know that. And then right now, oil basically flat on the day. Well, I mean, trades all day, but 0.78% right now, up to 116.60 on oil. But I got bigger fish to fry right now, including CCL and AMD. Big positions for your boy.
I just saw something hilarious in the chat there. Someone saying there's one stock with no red candles in the 5-minute, but I won't say because it's 80% of you shorts. I don't know. I don't think a lot of people are shorting Kroger, so it can't be Kroger. I'm trying to guess what that one is. IMPP halted to the upside again. So this is the third halt of the day. Basically, halt up, halt down, halt up. I'm going to go on a limb and say if it halts another time, it'll be to the downside. The high of the day is much like INDO, right around that pre-market top at 550. So that's the level I want to be fading off of. I just paid for the privilege to take that one. And you're right. You're right there, Paul. I meant Indo at the 50 level. I was talking about shorting Indo at the open. We didn't have locates on either one of them, so I did mean Indo at 50. The corresponding level on IMPP would be $5 at the open. So, they're kind of moving lockstep, but you're right about that. Clearly, it's Indo that trades at $50. IMPP a lot cheaper. That's the one I paid for locates on. When it opens back up, I'll look to see if it can hold at 550 for a fade trade. But we still have at least a minute or so before it opens. NEO was the last trade that we put on, right up around that $20 level. I got 94 short. It's been sort of consolidating here. I'll look for about 75s and then 50s in front of VWAP as targets here on NIO. Looking very, very strong here. I thought Tesla was relatively strong, but at the open, it was NEO saying, hold my beer.
Ooh,
Brendo?
Another little oil stock making moves here, guys. BRN, Barnwell Industries. Another one of those low float, tiny market caps, just taking out day highs here. On volume as well, 32% for BRN.
All right, we rolled the dice with a little bit barn. Was that Barna?
Well, it's
B-A-R-N? Is this a
BRNE.
Oh, B-R-N-E.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, AMD right now, we're $1.12 in the money, and we're just starting to cash it out as we are back up to the 50 period and that little VWAP level there. Unfortunately, it did take down that 106.50 and we got out, but it only went down as low as 106.34 or so. So I got out at 106.50. I hope you guys didn't, but I did. And then I was able to reload it at 106.60, got some out there, and then it was 106.52. That's where we're long right now, 106.52. Let's see if we can climb up here. And it's not, I think it was right here. Augustin here? I know I responded to you in the chat, but anyways, we'll look at it again. And it was like, come on, man, let's find a bottom before we start going long. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, I was looking here at the futures and sort of thought that might have been a bottom, and it was started with the AMD wick as well. So that's why we took that last AMD trade. There's nothing else I'm doing here trying to find a bottom. I mean, we're at 52-week lows for CCL, so I'm trying to look to see if that is going to be a bottom, and it is trying to barcode a little bit. We should have got them all out when it turned profitable comfortable up there at 1655. I am a little disappointed in being in this CCL for sure, because it's a big position for me and it's not working. So I fully admit, wow, that ZEO, the XLE continuing to work, man, for us in our long-term portfolio as well, as that's going well. What about SoFi? Wow, that's at 10 bucks again. I was looking at the market a little bit on Friday, but wow, back down to 10 bucks here, SoFi. And so it's at 10 bucks and it's up today. So SoFi definitely gets hit there on Friday. Yeah, made moves down to 970. And it looks like a lot of I wish I would have saw this. I didn't. A lot of barcoding here at 10 happening. So let's see if it comes back in. Maybe a good reload sub 10, like 980, 985, not a reload, but I guess just to get in. Down here, 980, 985 on SoFi could be a name to look at. I guess on CCL, I didn't really have a target. I've gotten out of some of these, but I was just waiting sort of for 1630 to break. But I'm going to cancel that right now. The future's going back down to the downside. I'm just going to see what happens at 16. I don't know if there's any size. It doesn't go down that far. But man, this stock, CCL today, Carnival, just getting absolutely killed. So we'll wait for it, down 5%. We've averaged in. It's at its 52-week low of 1632 right here, right now. So if you want to take a shot, do that. And man, I'm glad that we got out of that near, or most of it anyways, at this 107.50 area for AMD. It's coming right back in, man. These futures just made out new lows.
Yeah, exactly. And I got half out of Micron there for the win, and then we take the hit on the last of it, and then it just broke 80. So, I mean, immediately on the 80 break, I'm just going to, if you can't beat them, join them. The key level is going to be 80. I wasn't really looking for anything but longs in front of it. Someone just said Bed Bath & Beyond is going up. Yeah, it's bouncing off $25 here. I want to see maybe a longer consolidation. We did try it here, and that's basically a flat trail. Like we make some on the win, and then we're just stopping right out after the fact. NIO did pull back here. This market is really starting to get weak. So fortunately, we're able to. I credit you guys, because I was sitting there talking about Tesla looking relatively strong because it was the first thing that went red to green when I was sitting down in the pre-market and we got that bounce. But really at the open, it was all about NIO. It gets to that 20 level. It's just, look, when the market's failing like that and you get a push like this into multi-day resistance and then you're at that 20, of course they're going to short it, right? So thankfully, we're getting that to work. It hasn't been the best because AMD's absolutely stunk. Going to go back over to back to the well on that Micron trade. And sometimes you don't want to short the pop. Whoops, I just typed New York when it's NASDAQ. There you go. Come on, load. Don't do that thing. There we go. 80 just broke, so I reversed into the short side of the trade. I'm looking for pre-market lows for the first out, about 79.30, 79.40 or so, and just see if this market wants to continue to capitulate. AAL and Clover, the only two longs that we got left. AAL has managed to hold our last reload. It has not broken past that 1385 on the 15-minute. And Clover was a bit of a different story because it was a long on a dip at VWAP. I took some out at 65. Now looking to take some out in front of that 275 and see if we can't ride it higher. Clover looking relatively strong. Hey, I don't know if the news is really enough of a catalyst for it, but you're seeing it up that 20% and continuing to show at least a little bit of relative strength. So the market seems to like the Chelsea Clinton buy, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, just another board member buy. Like I
don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters that much, but hells to the yeah. Bang right now. We're starting to go to the upside here as CCL takes off, young fellow, take off. This is the name that we held. I told you, man, there it is, 64, 65s. We're long at 49. This is the name that we talked about off that 52-week low of 1632. There it is, man. That's 30 clean cents. It doesn't take a lot of trades. It just takes good trades, guys. That's CCL. We talked about that early. We averaged into it. It's a big stock for me today. CCL and BBBY, the best. Obviously, I've only traded 3 names today, and one of them is AMD, and we're seeing if that one wants to get back up to the upside as well. We'll see if we can hold out for this 107.60, but futures still coming down and AMD still in the money. Let's take out another piece if we can at 70, and let's get some more out on CCL as it's continuing to work to the upside. Brendan, over there at the big screen, let's see what's going on in the market.
Red numbers, guys. Unfortunately, to show you, let's have a look at, back to the downside we go. S&P a full percent now. Same story for the Dow. And the NASDAQ leading the way. It is tech showing some weakness early on here. 0.37 for the TSX here in Canada. Trying to get back to the upside after a week last week with energy prices coming off a little bit today. Crude oil, 0.5% now. It was 8% last night when futures reopened for the new week here. Bitcoin and Ethereum still making moves as well. A few things we were looking at here in the pre-market. Bed Bath & Beyond, the big mover, Occidental, and Wells Fargo as well. Yeah, banks very weak again today. But it's interesting, the Treasury not doing much so far. We did get a move higher initially, but right back to the downside. So all the banks moving along with it, guys. Back over to you.
And as you mentioned, with CCL moving to the upside, AAL does the same move off that 14 level. I'll show you the 15 because that looks a little bit better to be able to find those bottoms. Oops, no, the daily chart's going to show it to you. Go all the way back. Last time we broke that 15. Here's your support level, 1385. That's what ends up holding here in the open. I'm going to take some out in front of VWAP, and then if we get a chance to reload, we're going to go ahead and do that. Clover got real close to the high of the day just now. Okay, it's still pretty close to the high of the day. That's where I want to take this next out. I should just get on, you know what, I should just be able to take like 70s or 71s right now. What's the point? Like, why try to get an extra cent? I'm just going to take the 70s. If it wants to take out the high, 285 is the last target for me on Clover. So if it takes out the high, I'm looking for that 285 level, but the VWAP bounce has managed to work out for us here. Looks like INPP and INDO are still going absolutely haywire. INDO is halted again upside. INPP got to 55 and is pulled back. The volatility in these is insane. You're looking at essentially the entire pre-market range has come now 4 times on INDO. INPP basically the same thing. So neither one of these has broken out or down technically, despite what is completely insane volatility. Oxy, which is sort of obviously a more reasonable name in the energy space, still trying to bounce off of its lows. This morning, but has not been able to break back out outside of the opening range. Opening range tops here at 59. That is set up for a bit of a pop and fade type of trade, or even a breakout. Just make sure you're watching crude. A lot of times last week we were able to make trades off of key level breaks in crude. I just flipped to it. Why did it not go? In crude, and then you'd be able to look at crude break a level and then watch Oxy or maybe a Devon or even a Chevron try to follow through as well. So that level here for crude would be 119.15 if you're watching spot prices. If it breaks this level and you can still catch a breakout or a consolidation break on Oxy or CVX, that's what I'll be looking to do.
Okay, so right now we are long new position here on Microsoft. I thought I put an order out. Obviously, I guess I didn't because I didn't get filled. Right at 283. So we're going to put another order there and see if we get it. I don't know what happened there. I think we had some order problems, to be honest with you, there for a second. Okay, here it comes. Hopefully we get it back again. So 282. We are long now. Microsoft 282.70. So we'll see if it can go back up into the 90s, and we'll take a piece out there. Wow, CCL. Like, let's go on that one. Spin the cash here for CCL today. The largest, most profitable name today, BBBY for me, but you're going to see CCL obviously right behind it there. We're not going to be profitable on AMD unless something amazing happens here back up to the upside. It's because of that early fill there. We shouldn't have took that. And then we got hit to the downside, but again, trying to be patient. And I know this looks crazy, but that's what we're doing here on AMD. Just trying to reload as much as we can. Some good outs upside there right at the 50 period for CCL. Like, we actually got a 78 there. So, I mean, we just park it, and then we parked another one at 82. Hopefully we can get that as well. Microsoft into the long. We will average down. That bottom of the day is 282, was put in right there. So that's going to be an out for me if that does come through. There it is. Yes, sir. Let's go, man. Raining down the cash again. There goes Microsoft, another one. We're on one again here today, just not with AMD, Brendo. Val.
It's Miss V, and hey guys, welcome everyone who just joined us. It is a busy morning, and I remind you to smash the like button. And now let's go back to guys.
Thank you very much, there, Ms. V. We just got not a reload because I was out of the stock. Bed Bath & Beyond. We wanted it to consolidate a little bit longer. It made a double bottom off 25 and just broke the top end of the range here. So with about $1 worth of risk to the low, you can sort of see I want to get some out. $1 up from here, that'll be 27.5, and then VWAP would be a couple of dollars up. So looking to see if this can finally be where it makes a bit of a bid. I wanted that consolidation. I wanted more confirmation that we're making that low. NEO, on the other hand, by the way, checking out oil futures, they are getting close to that top. So it is it is Oxy that I'm watching. I actually won't put a trade on in oil, but it will be Oxy that I'm watching if we get that breakout. NEO is pulling right back in here to VWAP. It's got a double bottom, bit of a lower high that it just put in. I didn't catch the reload. I wanted closer to that 20 even. I'm still holding out with the market at least looking temporarily weak down around those bottoms. I'm still holding out hope that we can break VWAP here, but this is a relatively strong name, obviously. So if it doesn't break in the next couple of minutes and the market breaks higher, I might just have to settle for like the 30 or 40 cent win on the last of these NEO shares.
Yeah, we're going to try to find something. Okay, Palantir's coming back in. We don't want to trade that one. Neil's already looked at Clover. Maybe Bed Bath & Beyond again here. We haven't looked. We've sort of left that alone. I'm going to hold out. Like AMD's 50 cents in the money. I'm not taking it. CCL has come back in, but we already really happy with the way we traded that one. We will put another bid down here in the 40s for CCL if we can get that. But let's just look at Bed Bath & Beyond, a name that you guys probably are very interested in, obviously. So, all right, here we go. So there it goes. Maybe we did make that bottom at 25. Let's wait to see if that is the case. If it is, I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but maybe 27.50 break, which is $1 away from now. It looks like it wants to get going one more time here. But the thing is, if I take that 27.50 break, I mean, where's the out? So that's going to be the problem. But again, if you come back in, maybe we'll try. I mean, not maybe. I'm not here to play games. So let's see. Let's go. Let's take this. We're going to take a long here if it comes back in near this 25.70, something like that. So that's 25.33 bottom for Bed Bath & Beyond. We're going to try to respect that. So we're going to move it a little bit lower to 25. So that's all. So we're going to wait. We're going to use 25 as our bottom for Bed Bath & Beyond. That makes sense. Option eligible level there. We'll see if it gets defended. It could snap and then go right back in. So if we do get long around this 25.50, we'll use 25 as our out. That'll be 50 cents worth of a risk, and then we'll see what happens there. Oh, we just got more Microsoft, or a little bit more Microsoft long down there. So oops, there it is. Now we got it all down to the long side. So Microsoft coming back in. We're going to try to respect 282. But again, we're already long and made our misstep. Only one misstep today. That was that first trade on AMD that we took out the high side there. Since then, AMD's been a killer stock for us. So let's just wait to see if this NASDAQ holds up now. But it looks like it's trying to make new bottoms. So we don't want to be long AMD and Microsoft if the NASDAQ is tanking here, guys. So I know that's obvious to say, but I'm going to dump this one, especially. We can hold on to our AMD, but Microsoft, because we really, we've only have one in, one out. We'll take one more. We're going to try to respect that bottom of 282. There's really nothing more here on a longer term chart unless I do wait for that magical level of 280. And that's just a little too far away considering the shares I'm trading with. So I'm not going to use that. We're going to wait for 282 to break, and then we'll reload Microsoft on the downside.
And IMPP just went nuts again, a halt to the upside, close to that $7 range. Again, it's indicating a flat open, so 82 it halted, it's 86 it looks like it's going to reopen in just about 2 minutes or so. If it gets to about $8, you can kind of see that's probably going to be worth it for like a fade, 8 to 8.50. I just got the reload, like I said, in that Bed Bath & Beyond. AAL is about to be a reload as well as it comes right back to these lows. I want it testing 14 again. Then I'm going to jump right back on the bid here. I got 10s last time, so I'd rather get something closer to that 14 even. So I'm going to be patient with the reload on that. NEO needs to really start to work. The futures are falling again.
Yeah,
if it can't break down and break 1950, then it's just too strong, and I'll have to take the scalp win. Brendan, what do you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, all these little ones starting to go again. MXC as well. Mexico, remember this one, had a huge Mexico Oil or Mexico Energy, I believe it's called, had a huge move back up on Friday to 26. We're trying to take out that high, but oil stalling out ever so slightly here at that previous high for crude. So MXC, another one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these little oil names that I probably should look at. Okay, so AMD again, one more time to reload it right here as it's making a move back down to 106. So, sorry, did I say AMC? AMD making a move. I want to say a big shout out to Dominic Femilaro because you are a big supporter of the show and you've been talking about CEI all day. So, wow, 110.
Chamber? Is that
why didn't we even, I don't know why, honestly. Sorry about that, Dominic. Like, this is a name that we should have been on. I'm surprised, I guess. I don't know if it's just started to pick up volume. It was doing pretty good volume in the pre-market. I don't know why it's doing this, but I thought, like last week, wasn't CEI when I was here last week at 50 cents? It had a big monster move on. Yeah, It did. It had a monster move on Friday. I don't know if you guys looked at that at all. I'm sure you did. And that went up to 80 cents. And then now today, again, another bump up here on CEI. Wow. 40+%, 150 million shares. Shout out to you, Dominic. Not ignoring you. Honestly, I'm just too busy. Our show's a little different, obviously, than Market Movers show. I see a lot of you guys saying, well, they look at the chat more. Quite frankly, I trade more. So it is what it is, right? I mean, that's just a fact. So that's why it's
time
harder.
of day?
I would be trading like a maniac in the midday too, but I agree with you. It's just that's why it's hard. But time of day is super important. And we already have, and other than that, man, like the sticky notes, some of these key levels, and this is what I'm going to say, and I know Prad says this too, it's like, trades have already happened, right? And so in the middle of the day, you're waiting for things to develop. It's a little bit slower. It is easier to answer your chat, but that's why we have Miss V here. So if she sees a symbol going crazy, she knows to come through with that, especially if it's on our chat. So she'll be looking out for that. And thank you again, Dominic. But wow, 110. Before I go, let's look at this a little bit. It's way off here, up to 110. So we had to look at a daily chart because I haven't been here in a long time. Real high 150. I remember those days when the volume was crazy here on CEI. We did stop at that 150 mark. So if you're looking at an area to stop, don't know if we get there today. There is some consolidation here right at these levels, 124. That's a little more reasonable. So don't forget option eligible levels, right? $1, $1.25, $1.50. I mean, you can get weekly options at about any price, but I always look at those kind of levels as key levels, which is why Bed Bath & Beyond 25, things like that tend to be pretty key. So we're going to watch out for CEI, but thanks, Dominic, for that, and sorry to get to it too late.
Yeah, I just paid for locates on this. Just 2 days like that, a double up, almost exactly a double up. It's just too juicy to look at. IMPP just 115 double top, 1/4 for me. Makes some sense to test it. IMPP just opened back up. It looks like it just broke back up. I remember looking at that 8 to 850 area. If it can pump that high, I like the potential reversal there. NEO broke 1950 and then just reclaimed it as a market. The market continues to go lower, so I'm going to hold on to both the Micron and the NEO trades. Like at this point, I just kind of feel like with the market continuing to fall down here, you want to hold on to your shorts. Now we're looking to halt up at 750 on IMPP. Just resisted a 757 halt. Looked like it was about to do so for a few seconds and then managed to break down, which gave it some breathing room to go back to the upside. And we'll go over, if you don't know what like a fake halt is and these halt rules, we'll go over them at some point. But right now, that $8 level is coming into play, and I am looking for a rug pull right around between 8 and 850. I'm looking for a rug pull on IMPP.
All right, so we'll get rug pulled here on Microsoft as we take a little bit out and then we get out of the rest. So, whoops, where's my charts? That's my 1 day. That's my 20 minutes. It must be behind here. There it is right there. It does take out that 282. We'll see if that's the bottom. So we do want to stay on here to see. There really is no wick bottom action here. There really is no bottom to the volume here. So yeah, maybe we'll wait to see. That could be just a legit move to the downside. You see the futures today, they just no stop. I'm actually surprised that some of these longs that I've had, we've been able to take some cash out of them because yeah, right now, no, it is like see you later on these futures. So it's a big move to the downside here. We are still absorbing this CCL trade. Maybe, not maybe, we should have taken another reload there. And I do want to reload AMD, not reload, but take a little bit more shares here on AMD. There it is right there on AMD. So we're going to take some out or take some more here and wait to see where this bottom is. I just want to keep like getting into it. I feel like this is the name I want to be long, especially if the futures pop. So let's see about AMD, but we're not going to keep this for very long. We're going to do some more work. Maybe, I thought it was like 104.80 or so as a very bottom here for AMD.
So just as Bed Bath & Beyond hasn't broken 25 yet, but it feels like it's absolutely inevitable. And as one name already pulled a rug and might do so again on me, IMPP, it broke that into that $8 range by 1 cent. 1 cent, and then did a failed break. So I was able to actually get 89s in here. And then next thing you know, it's down at 680, which was the previous halt price. Now I'm thinking about the previous halts. Like the next halt level is 570. Not the next halt band. The next halt level on the way up is 570. That was like the second or third halt to the upside. I'm looking that to $6 as the next range down. But the capitulation was in on this name. I'm going to make the assumption as I throw my bid in front of $6 that INDO probably, yeah, there it is, just did exactly the same thing. Not quite as volatile of a move, but you just saw it make a top at 62 and pull back in here. So thankfully, we were able to get IMPP. It was really ridiculously expensive to grab locates of INDO. IMPP was just a little bit more reasonable there. NEO finally decided it was going to do what the rest of the market was doing and make another leg to the downside, but it's still relatively strong at this point. It just broke VWAP now. It just broke the opening or broke this pullback support here at 1935. I think I'm getting it all out in front of 19 here, guys. It's just, I look at the market. I'm going to pull this up instead of trying to flip charts because that's been a bit of an issue. I'm just going to pull up this chart here for the NASDAQ and show you. We've rug pulled on the NASDAQ, and we're right back in the morning support. I kind of feel like we're going to make a bit of a bounce here. Like, how could we not? Oh, you can't see it all because I went too far there. So there you go. Now you can kind of see this. Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping we make a bit of a bounce. This 13.6 level all the way down to morning support, 13.55. That's why, if it's a relatively strong name, and I'm short it, I want to be taking the profit out here, not sit there holding for the home run. In that regard, Micron, which went from a buy the dip trade to a market wants to go short, we're breaking the 200 period moving average at 80. I want to make this into a hold all day long type of trade off that 80 level, thinking you can get back down to like 75, 76. That's going sideways. So I like the notion that if we do break lower, even on any kind of a bounce, Micron's been just sort of sitting here at that 80 level. I'll give it $1 to see if it can go like 3 or 4 and then go the rest of the day here. But obviously, it's starting to run out of juice. AAL, which is one of the 2 longs that I have left, it's trying to test. We got a couple of good scalp trades on AAL. Now it really looks like it could take out that 1385. At some point, this usually happens, and that's how it should kind of go. You figure your long levels, your short levels, what you like, what you don't like, and then by this time of the day, you're thinking about, okay, am I reloading for the last time off the level I like in one direction, and then you're holding on to your trades in the other as we've established a direction. So it feels like hold on to those shorts while the longs get absolutely tested here might be the way to go. The only exception for me might be Clover, because it's kind of a small cap up on its own news. It might not care what the market is doing, but it just got to that top, that 280 to 285 that we're talking about, and I feel like I'd be a fool not to take profit here. So it's still strong. It might not care what the market is doing, but it was a gift to actually get this price at 260, and this is the range that we're going to play. So every now and then, you might miss the first trade. You're able to buy it on the dip. We'll do the backflip for this one coming back to us and giving us a second entry. We almost missed this altogether the first time through. Speaking of small caps, let's go to Brendan for the small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning. Lots of those little tiny oil stocks to have a look at this morning. As we were saying, we had an issue with locates, so we couldn't get them until too late, unfortunately. I did get 9. It was after the open, obviously, so I chased this a bit. 280 and then 3 were levels to look at on this. It looks like stalled out at 280 there on that first initial test, so we'll see what happens. We can get into that gap, maybe test Friday's low, but crude oil not helping, obviously, with any of these. The other one's a lot more volatile, to say the least, on the low flow side. B-cell was the other one I was interested in, but as I said, didn't get locates, but pretty easy break there of 4. Gave you a move all the way down to 350 now. Volume already dying on B-cell, though. So might be done for the day, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, that one was just, it was like, we talked about things capitulating, and what's going on here? Halt, are you halting or not? Fake halt. I'm going to get it. So IMPP, sorry, as I was about to talk about B-cell, IMPP got down to 607, which was clearly a halt band. The offer starts to stack up. The second it looked like it was any indication it would not halt, I just punched out of the last of my shares there. So I've taken 3 trades in this. 1 in and out flat. That long was no good anyways. 1 short in and out close to flat. And then we just got $8 down to $6. These names are all completely insane. Whether it's MXC, which actually it's actually not as insane there, but whether it's INDO or IMPP, you are seeing them go absolutely nuts. And INDO is a little bit stronger at this point. It's been holding the pre-market high, which is about $53. So if there's something that's going to break out again, I would have to put this one right on target. Looks like IMPP is not going to be making that kind of a move, guys. So great short on it. It just bounced now. But if you're looking for relative strength, I would say it's INDO over IMPP. I'm going to treat that the rest of the day. Like, shorting pops on IMPP. If there are any longs, I'm going to take in one of these low float energy names. It's going to have to be INDO. Like I said with Micron, we did flip from long to shorts, and at this point, I don't actually have any bids out. I want it taking out those pre-market lows. If the market's going to flush, then I want to hold on to this to the high to mid 70s, and I want to give it at least $1 worth of risk. So I tried, this long was good, the second long lost, and once 80 got taken out, that's also the 200 period on Micron, down 2.5%. Bit of a rug pull happening there, of course, in those futures. One more name that we didn't really talk about, but I want to quickly pull up here. Moderna, down 6% with effectively a $10 move top to bottom because it just did the pop and fade trade. Hopefully my daily chart wants to load up so I can, I'll have to show you the 15-minute chart. Rolling over, and look at this break. Failed breakout right through Friday lows and then a capitulation. So that's what you usually look for a nice little directional trade and being able to short it. It's getting very close to last couple of weeks, a 125 bottom. If it can bounce off there, I think that's about the last line of support before things would get pretty ugly for Moderna if this chart wants to go further back. So it is on the radar. If it gets anywhere close back to that 130 level, I think it's a fade. 125, definite wick bottom here, worth a look if it falls any further.
All right, we are into Palantir here. It did take out the 50 period. I just feel like it was basing here, so we'll see if it holds that 1130. That's all. So we're just going to try it. It did come right, like as soon as we got in, it came right back down. So we did average into that, obviously a little bit too early. We were hoping that it would have taken this level and then started to try to march towards VWAP here, but like you guys can clearly see, as clear as day, that this market doesn't want to go up. So here's the market right here. It's just still fading out near these day lows, and it's just making new day lows right now, breaking down through 13,600. So as that goes, man, a lot of these longs, obviously in AMD and in Palantir, not going to be working out here today. So that is that, and we'll wait to see now where it goes. Obviously, a break of this 1130 is coming in gone, so we'll see if that can hold. Hopefully it does. All right, so new position, well, kind of a new position because we haven't really traded CCL in about 30 or 4 minutes or so right there since the last load we took at 952, and now we'll try it again. This is, so here's the 52-week low right now. We're going to hold this one a little bit more. We don't have very many shares in CCL right now, so this is one that we can hold out. It's not really working out, but we're positive on CCL today. So with that kind of momentum, let's see if it can keep going to the upside. And here's what it looks like on the daily chart. I mean, we are testing these 52-week lows made back here in early December down to 1630. So, yep, we're testing them. We are breaking right now. It's actually 1632 is the 52-week low. So I'm thinking that we break this. I guess you got to cancel my Uber bid. I didn't realize that we still, but that's at 29. Well, check where Uber is. I doubt it's there. But we'll wait for a 16 or so bid. So we're in this name now. We're in it pretty light, but CCL down here to 16. Let's see if it does test 16 flat. I mean, if this market's going to be a disaster today, which it looks like it wants to be, then yeah, none of these levels are going to hold. But let's just wait to see. We'll go small on this one. We've already dug into Palantir, and needless to say, we are now officially dug into AMD, long at 105.80. This one's been a disaster, so let's try to hold out for this one. 104.70 or so on the bottom side for AMD. Yuck so far today, man. The market just goes south side. We should have been short. And you know the only name that I looked at for a short, you guys should know about this because I talked about it, and I said it was very similar to Coinbase up here at 103. Yep, that was Alibaba. That one should have been short to the downside there on Alibaba. So yeah, yuck on that. Down to $100 here for BABA. We penged that at 103, but I didn't do anything about it. So, all right, market's starting to fall down even more here now, taking out those lows.
I knew there was a stock I was forgetting. And it's always, if I'm not trading a firm, then it's a stock that I'm forgetting to trade. Yep, the rug just got pulled again on a firm. Only it's 34.7. I made sure not to miss that short on Friday. I wrote an exclamation mark for myself so that I wouldn't. And then you take out that 34.70. This is the level I'm talking about. Look at that flush, right? You look at these multi-day support levels. The last time I took it out, we're shorting this 37.50 and then capturing basically the entire move on Friday. And it's going to do the same thing here. If it tries to pop back up, I'm fading it. I'm just give me this trade back into 35, give me back into 35.5, and we'll go ahead and take that. Micron, we'll do a backflip there. It just hit the pre-market lows. Now let's see how far it can go down. Micron and Neo rolling over nicely, but that obviously means, that AAL, this is the last chance, right? We reloaded at 13.85 is our stop. Right around that level on the daily chart. If you go way back a couple of years, 13.85, that gets taken out, we're done. At this point, you've been pretty fortunate to get a couple of dip buys in here only because we had good prices, but the trend's been the other way. There's no question about it. I'm not sure we can get the bounce here, but I'm going to get on the offer in front of VWAP just in case we get a last-ditch pop here. We talked about the futures sort of finding a bit of a base. I'll show you here. This is the NASDAQ trying to make a low off those morning support levels. Same thing happening over in the ES, only ES a little bit higher up. So ES showing some signs of relative strength, whatever you want to call it, but it hasn't tested those lows. NASDAQ is doing so right now. Probably the last chance for these names to dip buy, but I'm holding my shorts through this dip. If we can bounce off here, the shorts are in the money, but if we break down, I just feel like there's more room for this to be a monster trade if we break through support, your shorts, than necessarily these weak breaks to the upside on these long trades, which don't look like they're working out. So holding 2 shorts, 1 long at this point, and then looking for the next trade in either INPP or INDO, those crazy oil names that we've been looking at here. INDO is not breaking out that 62, at least it hasn't yet. I think that's the one I want to play to the long side. In INPP, we already shorted it once. It hasn't made any kind of a pop worthy of shorting. Brendo?
Power, guys. We were talking last week about some strength in some of these clean energy names. One that's holding up nicely so far, 4.5% here for Plug. It did pop up initially Friday as well, but then faded off all day long. So worth a note for Plug.
All right. I see a lot of talk here about Facebook, and wow, Facebook. Yeah, it's just down $10. Almost no green candles at all, but I did look at the 52-week low. Wow, Facebook. I talked about this last week, remember? This was the one big cap tech stock that I'm think might be done for a long time, man. Switching over to the metaverse, obviously got hit. They took a $10 billion hit on that, so that's not good there, and with no profits even close to becoming anytime soon. So watch out for this name as it just got cranked to the downside. And its 52-week low, just so you guys know, is 190 quarters. So we still have a little bit to go there, but I was looking at it and almost picked it up. The problem is I'm in this AMD, I'm in Palantir, so, but there it is right there. That's actually 188. I think it's the 52-week close is 190.22. So I believe we probably did hit that 188. I mean, that was chaos on some of those days. Yeah, February 24th. Yeah, so that was that crazy day. I think January 28th or something was also, but we were already up here for that day. So here it goes, trying to make new lows right now in FB, man. The low just keeps getting lower and lower on that one. Roku, also 116 today. Yeah, big time moves happening and not in the right way if you're long. Neo was up almost 10%. It's back down to 19 right now. And here goes AMD, man. It's starting to get cracked. We take one more long here on AMD and just trying to hold out for 104. But really, all these names, man, dead in the water. Brendo.
Yeah, surprisingly few headlines coming out of Russia and Ukraine so far today. So crude oil starting to move back to the downside here. Gold, guys, we didn't touch on gold in the pre-market, but gold got to 2,000 once again for the first time in a few years. 2% here for GDX. You can look at GLD as well. So a nice day for any of the gold miners trying to get back to the upside as well. Let's get a check on how things over in, speaking of the European region. It's been a choppy day over there so far. Miss V is watching what's happening over there.
Hey, Brandon, European markets hit 12-month lows today, but by now is those losses and a little bit higher. Food company Danone trading in Paris is down almost 2% after suspending investments in Russia. Back to you.
Just checking on Comcast. There was a note with Apple. Comcast going to bring Apple TV to their platform, it looks like. So heads up on CMCSA, guys.
We just got to, I saw people in the chat, they're throwing names at us. At this particular time, with about half an hour for our show, and then we go to the midday, this is usually where you're holding on. AL just made a bit of a bounce. Like I said, I'm already on the offer there, and I'm holding the 2 shorts that I got on. But someone asked about Google, where it's at. The wick bottom or the gap down bottom that we had in the 24th, most names, you had the low the day before, and then the low on the following day when it got back up is about the same level. And some names have broken this support, like I showed you guys a firm or something like that. But Google about to test it at 25.4 here. And there's a few charts that look like this. So with the futures at a key level, holding morning support, you are getting some big cap names, which are all holding levels like this on the 15-minute chart. So whether it's Alphabet, I don't know if Facebook was actually holding that level, but Apple at least a little bit relatively strong as well. But as they start to retest these levels, they can be good places to dip by if the market's going to hold up. As I was just looking at, the NASDAQ just bounced off of that morning support. I was kind of hoping that would bring AEL with it. It bounced Micron, although that's still in the money. It bounced NEO on me here. So that short on NEO, which if I hadn't already taken profit, like our scalp profit on NIO, I wouldn't still be holding on to this. But at this point, I feel like it's shorts till it's not. And if we break these, there's just so much more room for this to come down if the market continues to flush. So when you've already taken profit, why not try to ride it even further? I see a lot of people throwing Walmart, Kroger. Kroger was stupid strong last week. I mean, I don't know if there was a stronger name that wasn't in the oil space and is doing the same thing. But once it's come this far and the market's pulling back that hard, usually I'm asking myself, can it go further? Should it not be faded? So I'd look at Kroger maybe around VWAP if the futures were holding up, but that's too high for me to try to buy. And I could be wrong about that because it's been so good the last couple of days here. This is what I mean. It gave you a pullback trade. I know I had it in the afternoon show on Friday for a nice little sort of pullback trade that we can only scalp. But look at how strong this name has gone. Chasing it all the way up here doesn't make sense to me, but you saw it do this. You saw it do this much, much earlier if you go back on a Thursday, like early in the morning, and then it had a consolidation. But once it went parabolic, it was basically pulling back after those parabolic moves. So I wouldn't be chasing the long in Kroger, but that's just but that's just me.
Right now, our net is going parabolic right now to the upside because of this reload and the way the market's going. I'm trying to be as honest as we can. We are negative today on AMD, right? But there it is, right back to the upside. Trying to respect some of these levels. If we can play bounces, we're going to do that. So our average price is 105.26, literally flat now on AMD, but we have emptied some out, so it's a loser. You can't average down in and then just get some out here. My two largest averages were right here, but you can see what my price is, so that's just how it works. We'll see if we can get back up here. Like if we get back up to 106.40, 106.40 would turn me positive on the name. So all we have to do is get back here. 106.40. It's 106.04 right there is view up. 106.40 will put us up. But I think we can get to that. So let's wait to see. Maybe the NASDAQ bottom, man. We got a big position on here for AMD. We've got a big position on for Palantir as well as that got out, but we reloaded it back up to the upside. We still are negative on Palantir as well. So, today has not been a great day. And again, it is what it is. I'm going to be red today on the stocks that we've traded here for you. So it hasn't been great, but BBBY was good here early. And then since then, we tried to catch a couple longs, which have been okay. We tried one more long here at 25. That didn't work. But you can see what's happening now. The 50 periods come down a lot. So on a break of that now, it seems more reasonable to take this because at least there's a base now being built on Bed Bath & Beyond. So we really like that one. Come on, let's go. Let's go, market. Your boy is here. Let's spin this now. We've got Bed Bath & Beyond. We don't got Bed Bath & Beyond. We got CCL. We have Palantir. If we can get this going, we're getting excited because this market just tried to get going. If we can get above this 13,640 here area, that's great. And then take out the 50 period. So that would be fantastic as well. But if this market gets going, I think we have some bangers for you. So let's see, man. CCL, AMD, and Palantir. And then whatever that last stock, Bed Bath & Beyond, I want to look at that as well. So that's going to be another name on the radar here, breaking through, not BBY, that's Best Buy, BBBY here in the NASDAQ. There you go, add that extra B, throw those B's on it. There it is, 26 break, but it's more like 26.10. So let's wait, we're still ways away from this. So I'm not going to focus on Bed Bath & Beyond, but if you like the long, I think you can try to take it at 26 and then give yourself a buck or so down to 25. So that's kind of what's popping off. But right now, honestly, I'm way over here on AMD and Palantir. So those are my areas of concern.
Yeah, and someone asked, is it time to go long on the Qs? So the levels I was talking about were in the NASDAQ futures, but they're obviously going to be exactly the same thing. So you are getting morning support in the Qs at that 330 area. I just feel like if we break the bottom, I want to be short. If you're in the money on a short and it breaks a low, you've got to gap down on some of those momentum names. That's why I'm sitting in the short in both Micron and Neo. But if you take a long and we bounce off here, yeah, your risk to reward is not bad. Just recognize when you're trading the futures, these are price areas. Don't put a stop on the Qs or like the NASDAQ like at the actual low, because we saw this last week. Like you can touch below, maybe only go a few points or so, and then it rocket ships to the upside. Like stops get run a heck of a lot more on the overall indices than they do on individual names. So just be careful. If you're going long here, it's not because you want to hold 330 even. You got to give it some room below that. Your reward is up to probably 333, 334. So giving it an extra 30 or 40, maybe even 50 cents or a buck on the Qs does make sense. But I'm looking, when we show the levels, I'm talking about the NASDAQ mini futures, but they're going to follow each other lockstep. Like I said, I'm holding the Neo short. Yeah, that's a good typo there, Neil. I'm holding that Neo short. We're able to get the top at 20, and I shout you guys out for this because the overall relative strength in some Chinese names I had missed, but when I was looking for the Tesla short and missed it, all of a sudden everyone was talking about Neo, and you see 20s up here Thursday and Friday. Couldn't really do anything but capitulate off those levels. Now it's starting to fall. It's continuing to head down, even with the futures just bouncing, which means I want to be holding this either for a retest of Friday lows or all day, or until the futures maybe make it back to like 100 points from here, guys. So we'll see what happens. Neo looks like it's a good one. Micron's now down to 79, so that's getting close to a buck in the money again. I want to hold both those. And AAL, the last long I've got, doesn't look like it's going to hold it all for me. Was that Brendan? No?
Nope, not that I heard. Okay, we can go to Valeria for likes, though, at some point. I don't think we've done that yet today. So if we want to do that, that would be a good idea now. Okay, so Palantir coming back in. That's why, man, we took some out there at 35. We were talking about those levels there on PLTR, and that's what we were looking at right there at the 50 period. I think it's probably worth a reload, but again, we need these futures to go. And if they don't go, then obviously we're going to be sitting here like saying, what have we done? So here we go. Hey, that's one of Prad's words there. Here we go. But the
market goes down when he
Randy.
says that.
Oh, that's Rob sitting over there. I was going to say because we got to get Randy over here to say it. So here we go. I don't know what Rob's catchphrase is. What's your?
He doesn't have a catchphrase.
He doesn't really have one. He doesn't have one.
No.
Buy the dips. I don't know. We'll go. We'll figure out with Rob. Very. Show me the money. He likes that one as well. Okay, back over to the big screen now with Brennan. Let's go a little bit sector recap. Looks pretty red on that board, big guy.
Yeah, another red board to show you guys right across this entire thing pretty much. 1.3% to the downside. Far corner over there is oil, or energy stocks, I should say, still putting in some nice gains, even with the now huge bounce we've had off of pre-market lows for crude oil. But otherwise, a pretty red board again. This is the consumer discretionary sector. Some of the travel names right out of the gate this morning, straight to the downside again. For the cruise lines, the airlines down here, huge moves as well. 6, 7, 8% for some of the airlines, right back down after showing some life in the pre-market, as we said. The defense names here, there's Lockheed Martin, all of them, LHX bouncing today. There's RTX as well. Caterpillar with a nice day, back higher once again. So some industrial stocks showing some signs of life. It is tech, though, that's leading things to the downside. Some of the semiconductors are in positive territory. All the big ones, though, definitely not. Micron, NVIDIA, AMD, all under pressure. Healthcare stocks, financials as well, all back to the downside, leading this market lower. As I said, full percent, 1.37 for the S&P right now. Back over to you guys.
So it was halted for half an hour to 40 minutes, I think, but that wheat ETF is open back up and just absolutely churning to the upside. I'd love to trade it. I think it's likely still blocked for us for volatility reasons here, Day Trade the World, but it's been going absolutely nuts. There is a bit of a bounce here. It looks like it's going to potentially halt again. Halt rules are a little bit different when you're talking about ETFs, but the volatility has been all over the place. So if you are trading this, just understand that the last halt was for 30 to 40 minutes. If you don't like getting trapped in things for the duration, then maybe this is not the one for you, because I think it's going to halt at least multiple times today. We saw, I think it was on Friday on the way down, it was like 5 or 6 halts, something crazy, guys. So be careful trading that one. I briefly talked about holding the NEO short and then talked about missing out on Tesla. Yeah, I know it got to that 860, made that double top and then fell. And a lot of times, if you miss out on a short in something like this, there's going to be an opportunity, usually if you can find the right name, that like for a sympathy reason might pull back a little bit later, just give you that extra like 1-2 minute count to be able to get into the move. That's what NEO provided for us. So, you know, usually you want to have a group of stocks within a sector that you're comfortable trading, or know what it is that you want to pull up next, right? Whether it's in oil names, whether it's in the EV space, because when you get moves like this, Tesla led, and then everything else is starting to fall off here, you want to make sure you don't miss out on it if you can. Whoops, just going back over to Micron, that just took out the low of the day again. We tried long, win, long loss, reversed when it took out 80. This is why we like that we try to show you that 200 period moving average. And now that we've broken the low, I'm sort of shooting in the middle of the previous support at 77 bucks. I think we have a decent chance to get there. This market retesting lows, if they break, I think Micron goes to 77. I think NEO, which we're holding the short on, I think that gets back down to this 1850 at least. But I also think that AAL is about to stop me out in about 2 or 3 cents. So hold on to the shorts. The only one I got left is at a support level. If it can bounce, great. Otherwise, looks like the market is about 10 points away on the NASDAQ from testing the lows, and that's the NASDAQ minis.
Yeah, the actual NASDAQ is already at its lows here. So we're already through these levels and at their lows right now. So 13,550 here on the NASDAQ. A little bit of a bounce, but again, really no love. It's just been straight to the downside, which is kind of disappointing because we started the day, and I remember starting the show was like, oh, Miss V's wearing green. Hopefully we can get to green. But, you know, it didn't. It basically, ever since the market opened, it's just been a straight sell everything. So, you know, there really hasn't been much love for anything to the long side. Maybe Clover. Actually, I was just looking at Microsoft right here. We're down below 280. 280 was the key level for us. We were long first. Like, just to have flipped over short would have been huge. But we were long early here at 282 and change. It did tick up. We got a little bit out. Microsoft's going to be a flat trade for us today. We got half out there, then half out on that dump. But right now, we're trying to respect that 279 long. But honestly, I'm already long Palantir and AMD right now. So the trade on CCL, we were pretty lucky because it did go back up to the upside and was able to get something out. So now we're able to reload it if it gets back into 16. But right now it doesn't look like it wants to get there. So CCL, right now at 16, kind of waiting. What's the low? 16. So we're right at the low. Let's see. Is there any size down here as we sort of zoom back down in? My levels don't go that far, but there are, you know, hopefully there will be something there at 16 flat on CCL. So let's just put another bid. I don't know if it gets there, but let's go to like 16.10, and then we'll reload and we'll put on another position here for CCL. It's been a positive stock for us today, but again, holding the bag right now on this as the market continues to go down. It's really just missing that opportunity on Alibaba, which we won't do that again. Clover's still at 270.
That's holding up better than I thought.
I mean, I can't believe it's holding up, to be honest with you. And then here we go, Tesla right now as well, making moves back down into the downside. So you're going to have to watch out for Tesla right now, coming back in down to 830. Watch out for that bottom there on Friday. Actually, the bottom is a lot lower off the open. 825. I think that might be worth testing along. If you think the futures are going to bounce, you could take a long now in Tesla as it's just fallen like 40 bucks, and then use 825 bottom from Friday as a hold spot because it's 825. Give it a couple bucks, but again, that could be a level there that holds from Friday, 825 on Tesla.
I'm going to quickly show you this. This is at NASDAQ here. I'm going to show you the reason why. NASDAQ bouncing a little bit off that level. The the opening range dip on NEO was 1875. It's bouncing off that right now. I'm out of this trade. You just saw the NASDAQ bounce off futures. NEO still up on the day, by the way. Still above that 1850 breakout price. So if it wants to fall further, fair enough. It's going to do so without me. We'll go and ring the register on that one. Do a bit of a Gronk spike there. As I don't know, I guess we're still going to talk about the NFL because baseball has got to figure their crap out. Combine was interesting at least, as everyone is really fast. That's what I took away from it. But NEO, I'm out. I just have one long left. Somehow AAL has not stopped me out. It just keeps bouncing off 85, 86. It's just a matter of time, I think. Looks like Micron will be the one that we hang on to for the short side of the trade. Is NEO just kind of, as much as it had gone up too fast, I just feel at this point taking the profit made a hell of a lot of sense. Especially as you pointed out there, Sean, I threw up my Tesla chart. It was like, oh, is Tesla close to that bottom? Yeah, like if it finds the bottom at 825, NEO could make a bounce as well. Going back over to Moderna, which I thought if it got a bounce back to the upside, it was at some pretty key levels. If it could have retested the mid 130s or 125, that'd be interesting. It's done neither. It's just sitting on those lows. And a firm, which I was begging for it to make a bounce, it made a bounce all right through the low. So a firm that's gotten away from us at this point. No need to sit on the offer. I always say if you're chasing things in the morning and you have some levels you like, if you start to extend too far away from that, if it pushes back up, you might not want that fill coming back in the afternoon. So don't just randomly leave it out there. Put an alert. If you still like it at that price when it trades up there, you can always jump into the trade. But I got burned the day that a firm had that crazy down day. I got burned on the way up when they released their earnings early because I left an order in from the morning. I'm like, I like to short up here. And then I got it right when it went parabolic on the news, and it just filled me, and then I was stopped out a minute later, and then the stock fell like 15 bucks. So, don't leave those orders out there. You can always reevaluate when things calm down during lunchtime. I am now down to Micron because AAL, gonzo. We've got one good dip buy. We got a second good one. The third, right through our last level of support. So unfortunately, AAL is not going to hold up. Now just holding Micron about $1 in the money. If the market breaks the low, I might be holding that one all day. Brendo?
Everyone talking about Mullen Group. Remember last week, guys, we had that little tiny battery maker making moves. I mean, it faded all of that all the way back down to 70 here in the pre-market this morning, but right at $1 right now for MULN.
I actually thought, well, as mentioned, I was like, what's it at 50 cents?
Yeah.
Because it was, I did look at it this morning and it was at 72, so I guess it's making a bit of a run here. Look, I'm kind of tongue-in-cheek joking, but this was the rug pull to end all rug pulls at $2. And just remember, we say this all the time, if you can't trade pre and post market, holding these things overnight is a huge risk because at $2, when you were able to get it, everything you could have got out above that or close to that $2 range was in the pre-market going back to the first. And then it's been struggling ever since. I think it has all kinds of trouble getting through this level. That'll be about $1.20. I'm not touching it at that $1 break unless it's a failed break up. So, I mean, breaking $1 and then coming right back down, then you're shorting like 98s or 99s, trapping some longs at 1. That's just a safe way to play it. Otherwise, 120 is the level I know I like on this stock. I remember because I missed it going into last week. So 120 is the level I like better, but a failed break at 1 is fine for a short. I'm not chasing this long. Simply not going to happen. I don't think you chase a long on this when it's from 70 cents to $1 and the chart looks like that. That just feels a little bit reckless to me. We've seen a lot of names go absolutely crazy. We haven't really talked too much crypto, so let's go to Brendan at the big screen for Money Talks.
Hey guys, yeah, big moves again in currency markets. Again, we'll talk about the US dollar here just for an update. Not really doing much. Cryptocurrencies back to 39 for Bitcoin here, down 0.8. Quarter and 3% for Ethereum and Ripple. But the no background today. Cool. The DXY. It's all about the dollar again. The flight to safety continues here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days straight to the upside. 99.5 was the top for the US dollar today. We're at 99, up 0.4 currently. So the euro, the Canadian dollar, the British pound, all under pressure. Once again, we're back to 78.3. For the Canadian dollar, 0.24 right now. It was lower than that. Japan, Swiss franc still higher again, about 3 or 4 days in a row higher for both of those. Once again, back and forth we go. The rest of the board here, Australia, New Zealand under pressure. The Turkish lira only. Obviously, that represents what it would cost for a US dollar compared to last Friday at the close. So Swiss franc as well, same story, a full percent to the upside. As we said, not much going on in crypto land, guys, but what a move for the dollar index over the past week or so.
Forgot something.
Yeah, I mean, especially with with oil moving around, obviously as Brendan just mentioned there, Canadian dollar moving around, and we've talked about the ruble and the USD as an interesting pair there for sure over the last little while. We're still in all the same trades, so I mean, there's really nothing happening. We're waiting for CCL to get a little bit lower. That bid didn't fill yet, so if that comes through, we'll take that. And again, it's like 16.10, like we mentioned, and the exact same thing here for Palantir. Like, we're out of the money 15 cents. Like, it's not the end of the world, considering the fact that the NASDAQ just really has never bumped back up. We have done quite well to get out, but now you see, like, I'm not averaging into this. We're going to wait to see if we can get something into here, right, into the teeth of this move. So, and I said this last week, I had a great week last week, and I didn't even touch Palantir. Then today, it goes up 6% right away. And we're like, okay, maybe it's going to respect some of these levels, but it doesn't want to respect anything now, especially people's nets if you're long. So Palantir, a great short, and that's fine. Whatever we make or lose today, we'll make more than that tomorrow, or lose more than that tomorrow. That's the best thing about this market. You got to remember things. You got to remember what happened. You got to put things, in the old noggin there and be like, okay, I'm coming back, like what stocks are strong today on market weakness? What stocks are weak on market strength, right? Should we just be focusing on oil now because of the way it's trading, and vice versa? I've just made back a hell of a lot of money just sitting here and talking about AMD, because there was that bottom, not talking about it, but just sitting here holding. We are at mercy to the market right now. The market fell all the way down. I'm trading the names I want. Like, I'm talking like AMD's a problem. I'm out of the money now, 21 cents on AMD. So let's just hope that it can come back up to the upside here. A little bit of a market rally, and all these names will come back in. Like, I've just made back so much money, but it doesn't matter because I'm holding. I want to make more. You can't hold something against you and then get out the minute it turns positive, because you held it so far red against you. So you need to hold something positive. So I get out of everything right now and consider it a decent morning. But honestly, I want this to bump up here. AMD needs to go. If these futures rip, then we'll have monsters on board. But for right now, they're just not working. And
so
go
oil
ahead
for a quick second, because oil is trying to get back up. I see some people talking about it. That 120 level, I've been waiting. I've had this chart up and on the side with the futures, watching for that 120 for some potential breakouts. But as that tries to go, like some of your other energy names, and the small cap ones, have been trying to get back up to the upside. I forgot totally about CEI a little bit there, and it got all the way to this 115 and pull back. It's also trying to break back out. I feel if 120 doesn't go, all of these, and pretty much pick your poison, they're all likely to try to capitulate off these highs. Camber is the one I'm watching. But whether that's going to be IMPP or INDO, it doesn't really make a difference. Tesla's still trying to hold that 825 level, and as long as it does, I still think there's a chance for NIO to make the turn. I got out, at that 885 of the short trade after saying I'd hold it all day long. At least I'm holding Micron to see what happens. But if it bounces off 1850, while Tesla can bounce at 825, and this NASDAQ can try to hold these lows, those are the three things I'm looking to line up that might maybe get long in NIO. Very likely it is CEI that is the next trade. I said I was looking for a failed break in Mullen. It could still happen. It's making another run at that $1 range. So I'm at this point, nothing else but Micron on the trade. I'm looking for a long bottom on NIO if Tesla and NIO can both hold those lows, and the NASDAQ as well. Has to be the trifecta. Failed break at $1, and I'm shorting MULN. As long as we're below 120, and CEI, I want to fade off of that 115 level. So very specific with these trades during lunchtime. Something else pops up, we'll have a look. Speaking of that, let's go right over to Brendan now.
All right, there are a few lingering earnings reports to get through this week. There was one we were talking about in the pre-market, guys. I forget which one it was, but I did check, and it was the first. I can't remember if it was Kohl's or one of the yeah, it was Kohl's. It was the first, so they have already reported. So here we go. This is what's coming up tonight and tomorrow morning.
Busy.
Yeah, big time busy there. Dick's Sporting Goods, I mean, we've seen retail get absolutely clapped lately. So I think that's definitely something to watch out for here as retail has been getting hit, man. I mean, I don't have to tell you about some of those names lately. We've seen Target, we've seen Walmart, a lot of these names get hit.
And they all have big short interests. Like Dick's, Dick's is like 20% as well.
Actually, Walmart did pretty good on Friday. I don't know what's up with that. Okay, so Dick's is DKS. So let me just have a look here before I say something that I thought that they've been getting hit pretty good here. DKS, they were well high flyer for a while, but yeah, I guess it's not, I guess it hasn't been hit that much. We were down. I mean, I guess, you know, I say retail's got hit, but last week it seems like it was a great week for some retail. So maybe I'm off sides on that one, but we still are below the 50 period and the 200 period here on Dick's Sporting Goods. So watch out for this name to come through next week or tomorrow for a possible move to the upside. We'll check short percentages, but it's at a pretty sweet level here. If they miss, yeah, I don't know. Will they test 90 again? I have a feeling like, I don't know. I wonder if the supply chain is getting better. I mean, it's just going to take one word for them to say that, yeah, it is getting better now. And if they have an excess of inventory, that would be great heading into the spring season. But again, we'll wait to see. It's crazy to make calls on earnings because we just don't know what the situation is. So we'll wait for Dick's to come out, and then we'll trade that tomorrow, hopefully accordingly, Miss V.
Hey guys, I hope you found some profitable opportunities this morning, and please join Brad and me to continue trading this crazy and exciting day. Also, we would really appreciate if you support the community and the show and like this video, guys. We need 500 more likes to get to 2K. Well, I'll see you later, and happy National Cereal Day, everyone.
Like in general?
Oh, yeah, cereal's a good one. I like cereal today.
Why not? Fruit Loops in there. That looks like Count Chocula, Corn Flakes. I have no idea what those other ones are, but whatever that chocolate one is in the top left looks pretty interesting. But you know what's weird? Like, I ate cereal every single day as a kid, and now it's like every now and then on the weekend I eat one of those like old man cereals.
Yeah. I have some, we have Rice Krispies and Corn Flakes and stuff like that.
You guys see, I don't really eat those anymore.
We'll see.
Rice Krispies for you know what, man. We got
Rice Krispie Squares. Is what we make. Yeah,
that's what you got to make.
My kids love the Rice
Oh my goodness. So sometimes the caterer has Rice Krispie Squares as part of like the breakfast. So I kind of feel like in honor of Cereal Day that maybe I'll go grab one because I have no discipline when it comes to that kind of thing. If I see it, I have to talk about it so that I'm shaming myself right now as we speak. But I'm going to go to Camber for a quick second because that was the shortest offensive of all time. Or shorting in front of that 115 high. I was in it and then out in about, I'd say 15 to 20 seconds. It took out that top. Oil's still trying to break that 120 level. So if there's no break, I still feel like these are going to be shorts. And we're talking this and IMPP just tested. Maybe I should have gone to IMPP. That just tested $7. So this feels like it could be a bit of a rug pull. And sometimes it has to break, stop everyone out, and then come back in. So we're still below that 120. INDO halted, I'm seeing you guys say. Yeah, halted to the upside. Ooh, that could be real interesting because if we fail breaks and these other names come back in, then you could get a bit of a rug pull on INDO. As it's in the halt state, if Camber, IMPP, and all these other ones manage to break back down, yeah, watch out for INDO if you're trapped in a halt when these reverse. That's the problem with the long in some of these and holding it at these high levels. If the rug gets pulled while you're in the halt trade, they could just gap down on you and you're kind of screwed. You know, obviously I like these halt prices at about 680 or so, but we'll have a quick look at those. No need to rush in. It's all about whether oil breaks 120 at this point. Been a fast moving show, obviously. I'm down to like that, just holding on to that micron short as the futures try to hold the bottom. We'll see what happens. Maybe we can make a bit of a bid here. It's Neo. I might take the long off of these lows. Clearly this week, volatility's gone nowhere, Sean.
Oh, no, and it's not going anywhere. So a nice move back up here for the futures. We're making a hell of a lot of money back there, but we still need the futures to go. Look at Bed Bath & Beyond as we get ready to throw it over to Pratt and Ms. V. This stock is just like getting destroyed here. Obviously, that story doesn't seem to be anything other than people that were pumping it up in the pre-market. So we're able to take that pre-market break, and we're positive on the name despite this happening. So quick, you can see what's happening here. Hold your winners, and then the losers are quick, in and out, right? And so if we had still held all of this to the downside, wow, how disastrous would that be? Down to $22 for Bed Bath & Beyond. It has never, remember where we were going to get back in when it took down this 50 period moving average? That's never happened, so we don't have to worry about this name. So Bed Bath & Beyond continues to get absolutely destroyed here as thank you for once again watching our show. I saw Trader Proud looking spiff as normal there. And yeah, it's been a good day today. Unfortunately, the longs haven't been working out. I still have hope as the futures are bouncing off the bottom. But let's see where we go now with Miss V and Trader Prad on your midday market movers. Tongue twister, what's up?
Get them.
It's time. Welcome back to Market Movers with Trader Pratt and the beautiful Miss V.
Thank you, Prad. I like your cheetah style, a little bit spicy there. Hey guys, welcome back everyone. Crazy Monday morning so far. I hope you're in a profitable territory. And as usual, please be active on the chat, ask us anything, and smash the like button. How's your day going, Prad?
It's going so far. Just no trades for me yet. Just zooming around.